Hello, hello. I should be live. Can you hear me? Sorry for the confusion today. Chris, let me know if you can hear me. We're doing a special stream today on Monday. We're starting a little early. Oh, yeah. Okay. I am live. Welcome in. Welcome in. Chris, you're the only one here. Well, we have a special guest we're going to be bringing up as we talk about this very important topic. Hey, Candy. Let's wait a few minutes and see if anybody joins. I don't know, my ugly face might drive everybody away. Hey 911, good to see you, Mom to 5. Healing Nature. I have the power. I've got the power. Hey Anna. I was going to go live at 3, then I was going to go live at 7:30. Now here I am at 1:30. And we're going to bring a special guest up to talk about this case today and talk about the Gabby Petito Netflix. I've got a whole slew of notes. I've got 9 pages of notes for you guys to go over what was new, what we didn't know, telling you guys, what I caught from the documentary, et cetera, et cetera. So while we wait for our guests to get up here, I do have some screenshots too of the documentary that I took. And let's start out with Gabby as a little baby. I know I needed a change of something else to talk about, and this documentary really has me riveted. Like, I really, really liked it. I really liked it, and I hope that a lot. Like, I'm glad it's on Netflix because a lot of young girls will watch it. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to J is for Justice. It's kind of weird, no intro today, none of that stuff. I'm on StreamYard, so I'm a little bit out of my element. So bear with me. But look at how precious, and that is Gabby's mom. You're making your daughter watch it. I recommend that. I mean, I told my daughter to watch it too. It's important. Hi, Kiki. Hi, Lucia. It was really sad. It was really super sad, especially when the whole family went out to the scene. Got to know who Gabby really was. You know what I thought was really cool? Hi, Sin. I was lurking over in the docket this morning. I saw your ass. I'm like, does she ever sleep? Um, I thought it was really cool that they used the AI. I have a clip of that too. They used AI and recreated Gabby's voice and read her journal. I thought that was pretty powerful too. Okay, my guest says they're backstage, but they're not. So let me go ahead and send them a new link. Hold on a second. You were with me during the whole Petito case? I was with you through the entire Petito case. I was there before this case as well, but it's cool to circle back and go through this documentary. I agree because there was so many unanswered questions. There still is. I feel bad because her ex is living with regret for not answering the phone. I know. I know. Put a 1 in chat if you were here during the Gabby Petito days when we covered that over here. Pearl Strand, good to see you. I know her, like her and her ex, it seems like they would have been, it's like sad. Like, what you wish they would have worked out. You know what I mean? Healing Nature, good to see you. Hey, Jay Blue. Hi, Sherry. I hope you're feeling better. Minky. Lots of you, all of you are here. Wow. Jen Heath, good to see you. Lisa M, Jubes, Jacqueline. Yeah, they talked about the van life together. They did, yeah, they used AI and they recreated it, and it was just like it was pretty cool to hear her voice, but then it was also so fucking sad because they were reading the journal, which was incredibly heartbreaking. Sue's mentioned a flower bed incident at the laundries. I need to do a deep dive. Okay, so Nash, I'll tell you what happened. So during the laundries, there was people flying drones and stuff over their house, and the Roberta and her husband Chris were sitting in the garden, and they were like gardening, like they were literally digging in the yard. Like it was wild, right? It was like, okay, you're digging. Thank you so much, Sherry. I love you too, girl, and I hope you're feeling better. Um, but there was like a hand or something, and we thought that Brian's hand was coming out of the ground. Like that was the big thing that we thought, but that's what was being said. It was wild. It was so wild. And I'm so sad because most of my laundry footage is gone. Let's welcome our special guest today. We've got Miss Granny's watching. Can you hear me?
Oh, is that me? I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Are you going to stream to your channel as well? Surprise your peeps?
Oh, I mean, I didn't even, I mean,
Oh,
I
you
could have, yeah.
thought you were going to do that. That's why I clicked the little box.
Oh, that's what when you said you clicked a little box, I thought you meant like I thought you meant it's
No.
something to do with StreamYard, to be honest.
Yeah. I said I was able to tick the box, like so that you
Oh,
can share to your stream if
oh,
you want
okay.
to.
Hold on. How do oh,
I,
share this to your audience? What the hell? Whoa,
yeah.
this is cool.
Yeah. Do it. Throw a thumbnail up
Um,
there.
come join. I thought,
I think that everybody needs to hear about this story and the things that were uncovered. It is so important.
let me mute while I type,
Okay.
but I
Yeah,
need
go
to come
ahead.
up
Get
with
set
like
up.
a title and stuff.
Yeah, go ahead. Get set up.
What are we talking about?
We're
Gabby
going over the
Petito, right?
Netflix and yeah, like new body cam and just yeah, kind of circling back around, just
Okay.
covering stuff we didn't know before.
Do I need a thumbnail? No, I don't think
Um,
so.
it's up to you, but I've got notes on everything. I know you watched the first episode, but I've got notes on all of it. I'm like enthralled in this thing.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, let's duel it. We're gonna
Gabby,
duel it here on J for J today. Hi, One Eyed Flo.
Gabby Petito. Gabby
I hope
Petito.
you feel better, Flo. But
Me
yes,
too,
Sin,
Flo.
I was in the docket this morning listening. I had no idea that the corn rake murderer was getting a new trial. You never
Dude,
hear of that.
you know what else?
Hmm.
I saw wait, when I do this, do I have to go in the studio and shit? What am I doing here?
I see you, Nene.
I was just reading a thing about this guy who literally ate part of his victim's brain but pleaded
Ew.
insanity as being released.
Released like into the general public.
Yes, ma'am.
So listen, there's new
I need
evidence
to make
in
a
the corn
thumbnail and
rake
shit.
murderer. I don't know if you know that case, but this
I
guy was
don't.
convicted of killing his wife with a corn rake out in the barn. She was found literally stabbed with a corn rake.
A
And the
corn
only
rake?
yeah, like that you like husk corn with. Yeah, like they
Yeah.
lived on a farm, right? So that only people that were out there were the son and the dad. Well, the dad was
Ooh.
convicted
Oh,
and
look.
he
Oh, wait. No, that's not me. Sorry.
there was new evidence. They call it was the same thing that we were talking about with Chris. Like if there was new evidence you can get, I can't remember the term for it. I'm drawing a
I thought
blank,
that's
but
called like double jeopardy when they charge you twice.
no, he's convicted.
An
But
appeal?
there's new evidence. So it's post conviction relief. So
Oh,
they're
yeah,
in
yeah.
court to say, "Hey, there's new evidence. Is this enough to, you know, give him a new trial, so to speak?" So it's really interesting because it was a wild story because like there was affairs involved and yeah, so it's like who really did it's kind of like a Kessinger Watts thing, but a different
Mm.
yeah, it's kind of like the same scenario, like the affair. Yeah, it's wild. It's like the
A-
35C for Watts. Yes.
Am I
Exactly.
live?
I don't know.
That's
Let
a
me
weird avatar. I got to make a thumbnail really quick.
let me see if you're live.
It shows I'm live. It just shows me as like my regular like my background thing.
Oh, it doesn't carry mine over?
No, I was hoping it did because that would have been a lot easier.
Huh. Mine did. Oh, yeah, it did. When you go to your stream, it's my background. Hi, Granny's chat. I'm in your chat right now.
Hey, MFers. I got to make a thumbnail really quick though. I do apologize. I didn't know that's what you meant. I thought when you said,
Oh, just yes. That's what I wanted. Hey, Kimberly Tuttle. You were with me during Gabby too. Robot. We're dual streaming with Granny's watching today.
yeah, and I'll join you on camera when I'm done my cigarette since I'm such a catfish.
Okay.
Well, I'll come and cam up with you. Let
Hi,
me make my thumbnail
Butter.
though.
Make sure you guys go hit the like over at Granny's and here. We're going to have some fun today and go over this Netflix thing.
Yeah, that was
Talk about
sad,
this.
man.
It is. It's crazy. And this mother was even more outlandish than any of us could have imagined.
Oh, I see you. Hey, Nene.
There we go.
Nicole, I see you guys. Okay, I see. I'm usually on your
Oh,
end of
Nash.
this, so I don't.
I know. Isn't it weird?
It
It's like, what do?
is.
Do you just click live and then people are there? It's weird.
It's pretty cool.
I hate how the banner is covering your window though at the bottom. Like when I pin the chat,
Oh, that's okay.
how do I change that? Like, can I change the?
Just keep
Oh
it how it is.
no, that's no good.
I'm glad I wasn't on cam. I hate when people do that shit.
It's like fuck. Oh man, there's not a whole lot of layouts on here.
You can. Oh, you can't because they make you pay for it.
Well, I got this free ass version, right?
Yeah, and when they make it, just keep me half
Oh
covered
shit,
anyway. I'd feel better.
Granny. Wait, Sherry baby just gave you a $20 super chat.
Oh, thank you, Sherry. 1 second, my daughter.
Hey, Freeside. Hey, Truck You. Zoom in. Poetic justice. Crimes have consequences. You're not late, Beans. We just got started. We're kind of getting set up still. Welcome into the stream, guys. I'm early. I'm late. I don't know. Hi, Angie B. Hi, Gary. What's happening? It's raining here in Florida. It's been raining all day long. How do I unpin comments on here?
Just unclick
We
them.
did. Okay, so yeah, there's been new interviews. Oh, you just unclick it. Okay. There's been new interviews with Gabby's parents. There was one, Justin from TikTok has had her parents on, and the night before that had Rose and some other people on from I think that foundation or something. But Robat just said we learned last night that Gabby's family did not get 3.5 million from the laundries. Gabby's estate sued Brian's estate, which they will never see. So what was the settlement then? Nothing? How do you have a settlement if it's nothing? Oh, Angie. Yeah, I got a little heated last night. I clicked on both of you on separate devices and you are together. Yeah, it's this StreamYard like stream together thing. Do we believe Brian is really unalived? That's a good question, Nene. You know, I'm not going to lie. I've had my thoughts on that. I don't understand this thing. I don't like StreamYards. It's
StreamYard's
weird.
like all I know.
Yeah, I mean, if you're used to that, I get it.
Keeping us like that is just fine.
3.5 million is an arbitrary number. This will prevent the laundries from ever cashing in on their story. Hi, time traveler. Emily Pickles.
And I
Maybe
think that
because
was more of their intent than anything. Like, I don't think their intent was to actually, I don't think they cared about getting money. I think they cared about just holding them accountable.
right, they wanted the truth. So through the truth, they got depositions. And the
Right.
depositions were, we read through those, and that was where we really started to get, you know, this weird feeling about Roberta Laundrie and her son. It was just such a weird relationship, and then we had the burn before reading letter. But let's get into the first episode. I've got my notes, and sad as fuck, man. This picture of Gabby and her mom. She was 20 when she had her.
Oh,
So, all right, let's start with the first episode. There's 3 in total, which I liked because, I'm not a binge watcher, so 3 is like perfect for me.
I'm a
But
huge binge watcher.
I know. You talk.
I'll
My
watch
daughter is
everything
too.
in
I'm like, I
one
don't know how
minute.
you can do that. Like 3 is perfect. Like it was just the perfect amount. Um, but in the first episode, they dive into Gabby's background, what she was like growing up, and we have these adorable pictures of her as a baby. Her mother Nicole talks about having her at just 20 years old. She describes her as a total cutie and quite a handful. Nicole and Gabby's father, Joe, split up not long after she was born, about 6 months later, but they remained amicable, always putting Gabby first. So something I didn't know was that Gabby and Brian actually met in high school. Maybe I did know that, but we never really heard much about like their high school friends or anything like that. They both lived in Long Island and they had a lot of photos of them as teens. After high school, their relationship grew, and eventually Gabby decided to move to Florida with Brian and live with his family. So that's where it gets weird. So there's speculation that Brian's mother, Roberta, may have been jealous of Gabby, which is effing weird. So look at this. Here's let's take a look at Roberta and Brian. Here's them at the beach. This was one of the scenes where they were like burying Brian on the beach, Gabby was, and Roberta kind of comes along and kind of hones in and gets down and is like brushing off his face and just kind of weird. Then here's another one of them. There's Mr. Laundrie, and then those are Cassie's kids, which would be Brian's nephews, and Gabby and Brian.
Was Brian her only child?
Mm-mm.
No.
He
That's
has a
weird.
sister, but she's like
Oh, that's
10
right. That's
years
right, though.
older, right?
Yeah,
She's like,
sorry.
but she's like way older. I don't think him and his sister were like close like that because she was probably gone while he was, growing up.
So he's the baby.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And then here's another one. Here's Brian and Roberta. That's a clear picture of Mama. Now, do you guys remember that followed this closely or with me? Do you remember the black dress lady or guy?
Black dress lady or guy?
So we were
Mm-mm.
watching the laundry's house like hawks, right? Because like the news was streaming from across the street 24/7. And this person, after Brian, we didn't know Brian was missing yet, I don't think. And this lady comes around the corner of their house from like the backyard. And it's a super tall lady dressed in black, looking like she's going to a funeral with like a big old hat on with a big brim so you can't see her face. And we were like, well, who the fuck is that? And everyone was like, is that Brian? Is that Brian? And then, it was like, oh, you guys are crazy thinking that's Brian. Well, I think it could have been. We never found out, Cheryl T, who that was. It
Wasn't
was
that Brian escaping from the house to pose as his mom?
That's what we think because they did not, the Northport police did not recognize him. He got in the Mustang and took off. They thought it was his mother. So I'm thinking, hey, Lee the Bee, I'm thinking that that was him. Because it reminds me kind of this fucking dress she has on right here. Y'all, is that the same dress? I wish to God that I freaking had that screenshot. Emily, no, you weren't kicked. Emily, send me an email with your email you use for Discord and I will get you back in, hon. I just had to make some changes to the roles and stuff. Definitely looks the same. Didn't she have a scattered? Yeah, I think he did. And then, no, I can't zoom out anymore. And then in this documentary, they show texts between Roberta and Cassie, the sister. And Cassie and Roberta are laughing at the Northport PD because they mistaked Brian for his mother. They didn't give a rat's ass. Cassie was all put on the spot by JLR and all them standing outside the front. And she's like, we don't know. I'm losing my parents and we don't know anything. Lies. She was laughing. And I think she knew. I think she knew exactly what was going on at her house. Okay. So let's move forward. We'll keep that picture up for now.
See, I didn't think the sister knew.
I didn't then, but I do now. Now that there's text that came out of her laughing about Brian getting away. I didn't like that.
Well, I didn't see that.
Let's see. Okay, so one detail that Nicole shared, which is Gabby's mom, was that she once received a notice that Gabby's address had been changed back to her Long Island home. Confused, since Gabby was living in Florida, Nicole called her daughter. Gabby denied making the change and suspected that Roberta Laundrie may have done it without her knowledge, possibly because she didn't want Gabby living there.
Yeah, that I heard.
I think since that process has changed, I don't think you can just go changing other people's mail. I don't think you can do that. Oh my God, Cheech Brown. Dog and At Night just raised the reward to $347,000. I can't.
What a jerk.
Mm-hmm. The address change created some trouble with filing the missing persons report.
So 347 must symbolize something.
Right. No way Cassie didn't ask Brian where Gabby was when they were at Fort DeSoto. I agree. So one of Gabby's friends, which is Rose from Florida, described Brian as socially awkward. Here we get into Brian's personality. Socially awkward, almost parental in the way he watched over Gabby during their hangouts. The documentary included dark, eerie drawings. Gabby's friend recalled an incident where Brian allegedly took Gabby's wallet out of her purse to prevent her from going out with her friend. She had to drive an hour back home to retrieve it. And while Brian apologized afterwards, it felt like more like manipulation than remorse. So red flag number one, right? Like taking her wallet so she can't go hang out with her friends.
That's what abusers do.
Yep. Red flag number one. Then we have Brian proposing to Gabby, but he didn't have a ring.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
Right. You propose to my daughter, have a ring or wait.
Like even doesn't have to be anything expensive, just have a ring.
But this whole thing sounds like a made for TV movie. Now listen to this part. This is the story of with their engagement. Are you ready? This is from a friend. He didn't have a ring, but when he got down on one knee and proposed, a firefly landed on Gabby's ring finger.
Oh.
Come on. Does that even happen?
No. No.
And then Gabby's mom only found out about the engagement through a Facebook post by Brian's mom. So Gabby must not have felt too excited about this proposal because she probably knew her mom and dad were going to be like, oh, did you, let me see your ring. How do you explain that? Like, how embarrassing.
Sorry, my daughter being a pain in the ass. Well, the fact that he didn't even seek her father's permission, didn't talk to her parents beforehand.
Right. And she was super close with them. Okay. So then they get into her vlog. She wanted to start this travel vlog on YouTube, but she was working 50 hours a week at Taco Bell to save up for the van that she bought. The van that he fucking took, parked in his driveway and hid in his house. And when the cops came to the door, The parents were like, "We're not talking to anybody." While the
Get a
van
warrant.
is sitting there. She was working 50 hours a week at Taco Bell. Meanwhile, Brian was dismissive of her vlogging aspirations, thinking it was stupid and ridiculous.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
So what they did show was some of the back scenes of their videos. And you know how like young people think that they watch these videos and it's all fucking, rainbows and butterflies and it's so, glamorous. Well, these videos weren't so glamorous behind the scenes. You could tell she was like a perfectionist. She wanted her videos to be perfect. She would redo them like, "Babe, come over here and redo it." Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like he was getting annoyed with it.
Well,
And
yeah,
it
because that's what social media has done, has made these, everyday moments have to appear as these, eccentric, beautifully perfect moments that just it's not realistic.
no, clearly not. Hey B fam. I know you can't pin the comments, sorry.
Yeah, I feel naked.
Yeah,
It
it's
feels
weird. Just
so
sit back and
weird.
relax, you know what I mean? Um
Yeah.
After 41 days on the road, Gabby took photos of her injuries that we saw. This is when the infamous Moab incident happened. Someone called
Mm.
911 reporting that Brian was slapping Gabby. Police body cam footage captured the encounter. Watching it again was gut wrenching. Absolutely. Gabby appeared distressed, apologizing for being in a bad mood and having OCD. And Brian had visible scratches on his face.
I have a lot to say about that because one of the biggest things is that the cop acknowledges. I know people don't like it, right? They don't like the fact, but the fact of the matter is, based on what Gabby said and the injuries on Brian, Gabby should have been arrested. Okay, and if she were, she may be alive today. But because they saw this thin, fragile woman, and they knew they were traveling, and they were codependent on each other with the travels, and the guy even says like, "I have a daughter her age," so they didn't want to see them get in trouble. But the fact of the matter is, that's why they have the law that he even referenced at the stop in place. Because domestic violence is so serious that there are situations where the woman says, I don't want to, I don't want to press charges and blah, blah, blah. They acknowledge that. The cop acknowledges that. And yet they didn't do what they were meant to do. And this situation was meant for that law. It was meant for that rule. And then here, she's and I'm not saying the cops are to blame or anything, but a lot of people don't like to acknowledge the fact that Gabby should have been arrested. She should have been.
Well, I think they do hold some responsibility, to be
Oh,
honest.
yeah.
I mean, they were sued by Gabby's family and it was thrown out because cops get like immunity. I can't remember what it's called, but they can't be sued or whatever. But they did pass and I thought this was pretty cool. They're passing 11 questions in Utah that police officers ask when coming onto a domestic dispute. And her parents think that those questions could have saved Gabby's life. And I think if they can't make their mark by, the lawsuit or whatever, changing things, maybe, those questions, qualified immunity. That's it. Thank you.
No, that's a great idea. Did they tell us what the 11 questions were?
They did. I don't have them offhand, but we did read them the other day.
Um,
I think I can't remember when it was, but we did read them, and it was like, questions they don't ask certain questions, they don't have like a list of questions that they should ask because had they asked the right questions, they would have seen they would have seen it for what it was. She was apologetic. She was taking the blame. She was, they said, "Oh, are those marks on your arm?" She's like, "I don't know." Like she didn't want to rat him out. He's standing over there laughing, saying, "She's crazy. She's
right.
crazy."
But
I
here's my
mean,
thing, right? So they already had a law in place to prevent what happened. They already had that. The cops decided that they were going to not follow that because their gut instinct told them otherwise. So, what happens if they ask these 11 questions and they're still like, oh, well, we're unsure. Like
yeah.
if that
Oh
law
yeah, the
didn't,
going back and forth, how they were standing there in like a little huddle, like, "What do we do? What do we do?"
ooh, she's so small, and I don't. People are saying, why should Gabby have been arrested? Because she admitted to domestic violence. Rather, she was saying that out of fear of him or not, she admitted to domestic violence.
But I see, and I disagree with that because the 911 caller, the witness said the male was slapping the female. So
No,
you
I know,
have
I
to take
agree.
like the witness and be like, okay, what'd you see? If he saw him slapping her, that's what they should have, you know, originally addressed,
Right,
right?
no, I absolutely I agree with that. I again, I'm not saying that she was guilty. I'm just saying by law, you have somebody admitting, just take that moment for what it is. You have her saying, "I hit him and I did this and I did that," which means the cops should have done their job.
Yeah. If one of them would have went to jail, I mean, not that it would have been pretty for either one of them to go to jail for the night, but they knew putting that dude in a motel room
Yeah,
and sending her off by herself in a van when she clearly said she was too scared to even drive the damn thing.
right.
They knew. They knew they were gonna meet back up that night, and all they wanted to do was be able to say, "Well, we separated them, not our problem, they got back together," and that's
Right.
exactly the sentiment they had. You did your job. You separated them.
Right. Well, and respectfully, I do think it matters that she admitted she hit him because she said that she was the aggressor, that she started it. Again, we know differently. We know what we see here, but just going off the cops' first instinct, they walk up, they get this call, they go there, and you have Gabby saying, like, oh, I'm sorry, I hit him. I'm not saying she's guilty. I'm not blaming the victim here. I'm just taking from that scenario, not knowing what we know. There should have been an arrest.
Right. If they were hitting each other, correct.
Right.
But I mean,
Right, they
domestic
have training
violence
literally for
victims,
this, and they fucking failed. So how good's their training?
well, that's the question. I don't think there was a lot of training with these officers on domestic violence, and I think that's where they want to make these changes. Like, if they're not going to do the extra training, at least ask these questions. And if that's the very least they can do to try to change things, I mean, it's something because domestic violence victims do blame themselves. 'Cause like
Right, of
she did.
course.
She said, "Oh, I upset him while he was driving." Like, "Oh, I said this or, whatever." It's
And Brian told her what to say when the police came. They told her. He told her because the police he literally says, "Have you talked to Gabby?" Yeah, I think it would have made a huge difference. I think if Gabby would have, in that moment, said he was hitting me, he was doing this, he was doing that, I think it would have made a huge difference. Instead, what she described was, I'm hitting him. I have all these disorders that make me unable to control myself. What the eyewitnesses saw was true, but he was just protecting himself from me. She kind of put the blame on herself. Now, again, we know differently because we are in hindsight. But in that moment, she gave him that out for why he did what he did. She said, I was attacked. He was driving. I was hitting him. I lose my control. I lose my, I have OCD. I have this. I have that. So that then created a self defense for
but she
him.
had marks on her too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's
She
where I say
absolutely did.
they failed. You know what I mean? This
They
photo
did
was
fail.
in her phone.
But to be fair, you don't see those marks when she's sitting in the cop car. Like they're not as visible then.
Yeah, I can't see him because it's pretty grainy, but the cop does ask her about it. He says, "Is that a new mark on your arm? Did you get hit in your
Right.
face?" He saw something and she was like, "Oh, I don't know."
I'm not sure. Right.
Yeah.
But you gotta remember, like, he's driving and she's saying, like, "Yeah, I lost my temper and I did this and I did that." And that makes it like he was self-defense at that point. Again, I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying that Gabby was wrong. I'm saying the cops are wrong.
Well,
The
she was
cops are
failed by
wrong.
the cops in many
Either way.
jurisdictions, not just in Utah. So you got Northport police. This whole thing came out with you got the mom's trying to file a missing persons report. Her mail's coming to Long Island because Roberta changed it. She was living in Florida. She had a Florida ID, but she's missing out of uh Wyoming, right? So her mom's trying to file this. I can't even imagine like who do you go to? So she calls Northport because that's where the van is, right? The van's back. So she calls them and she's like, my daughter's van is there. I haven't heard from her in 10 days and they're not answering me. They've blocked me. Like she's texting Roberta. Roberta blocked her. So the Northport
Mm,
police are
mm,
like,
mm,
well,
mm.
there's nothing we can really do because, da 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 da. So then they went to the Long Island police and finally Long Island called Northport, and they play this call between Northport and Long Island. And Long Island's like, what do you mean they won't talk to you? Like they went to the door. They're like, can you tell us, can you give her parents an idea of where she last was, anything? And they're like, no, we're not talking. So he gets on the phone with this Long Island detective and she's like, you don't find this, suspect? Like, and he's like, well, I do, but what do you want us to do? She's like,
Mm.
well, her van is there. That is in her name. She owns it. She's not there. He was the last one with her. Like, what?
Like, how would the fan be there and not her? What the fuck?
Right. And Brian wouldn't even show his face. And, I just think that at that point they could have detained him. They could have detained him because
Yeah.
he had her van. She's been missing for 10 days. No one's heard from her. Why couldn't they?
At the
I think
minimum,
they
they
could.
had stolen property.
Right. Right. And they even went to the door and they said, we have the title to this vehicle. And I'm telling you, this vehicle is registered to Gabrielle, not Brian. And his parents go, okay.
Well,
And
no
and
big
that was
deal.
it. And they left. Yep. Yep. And then they missed him leaving, right? Oh, mistaked him for his mom. It's like, how many fumbles do we see in these big cases now that when they come out and it's like, whoa, you know, the fuck? How can you be so incompetent? But here's where they're towing her van away. That was pretty surreal. They went to the door and they're like, well, we're taking the van. Like when they said the title, it's in her name. Like, we're taking it. And Mr. Laundry just goes, okay, I'll get my keys and move my car. And he went out there, moved his car, and the tow truck drivers took her van. And Brian's inside, nowhere to be seen. Wild.
It's wild that they didn't demand him come out and say, "How do you have this? How do you have
Mm-hmm.
this fan right now, little
Mm-hmm.
bastard? What are you doing with it? Where is she?" No interrogation, no nothing. They were just kind of like, "Okay, all
Yeah.
right, sure."
They handed them their freaking lawyer's card and said, call our lawyer.
Yeah,
Horrible.
that lawyer's a piece of shit too.
Oh, I can't stand him. Horrible people.
Yeah, unauthorized use of the vehicle. At the very minimum,
Right.
there are ways they could have, and that's what they do in a lot of cases. Well, not in a lot, but they're, and many times they'll find a reason to keep these guys in jail, right? Like if they know without a doubt they're guilty, but they don't have enough to like, you know, lock them away for that actual, they'll find something else like they did with Stephen Stearns. They locked him away on the basis of whatchamacallit first, and then got her the SA, and then got him for her
Murder. Yep.
yeah. I didn't
Right.
want to
Like get
ruin
a
their
reason to hold him
investigation.
on, right? Like,
Right.
oh, Country Diva. I forgot about that. I remember when Roberta was out there cleaning the van. Mm-mm-mm. Well, thank you. Well, there's that. Hopping over here from Granny's to give a
Hey,
like.
well, there's that. Well, nobody could report it stolen because nobody knew he freaking had it because they couldn't find Gabby.
Right. Unbelievable, man. So that was the first part. All right. So the second episode, Nicole, okay, so her mom said that Gabby told her that they had an argument and that Brian actually locked her out of the van. And she said that Gabby just brushed it off as a stupid argument. But that was the argument where they were separated that night. And
And wasn't
then,
it said that they didn't stay apart? They met up.
right, they met up later that night. And we didn't know that till the documentary. I mean, we kind of figured, but it solidified it that she did end up probably going to the hotel and they stayed there.
Hey, show. That's, I mean,
Hey, show.
well, even the fact that she's afraid, right? This is what drives me nuts too, because on one hand, it's like, well, the cops saw this young, fragile female and they just wanted her to, relax. And she took most of the fault for it. So they just wanted to separate them. So we're going to leave her out here in the desert in a van by herself that she's
Right.
afraid to even drive by herself. And we're going to go put him up in a hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, WTF?
Yeah, it's wild. And it's a domestic violence hotel, like where they take the victims. It's like contracted with the state. That's where he was.
Oh, wow. That's actually, I wonder, does my state have one of those? That's actually really sad.
It is sad. but they must not follow that rule of an automatic arrest very often if they have hotels. Oh, no, I guess never mind. The other person's in jail. Just smack me.
Oh, because you're saying, like, why would they
Yeah, I'm like
to
I'm
keep them
like,
separated?
"Yeah, never mind." Gabby woulda went to jail instead of being in the van, but yeah, they had
Right,
to know that. And you know what really got me about that too was the cop was like, they were debating on who to, what to even do. And
right,
then they're like, "Oh, Brian, come on, we're taking you to a hotel." And then the cop's like, yeah, down the road here, there's this place for $4 showers, if you want
right,
to,
like, "Yo, you
my
just"
wife, yeah, my
Mhm.
wife needs a shower when she gets anxiety and probably help you out. About
He kept
4 bucks.
comparing to his wife,
Yes.
which is the problem we see in a lot of these cases is that, we're only humans, so to an extent, you take your life experiences with everything, you intermingle it with, your everyday life, right? That's how we come to be who we are. But that's what you see a lot of times is that people don't know how to discern between the two. Like, you know what I mean? Like what
Mhm.
Gabby was going through was not his wife. And had he not had a quote unquote wife that was like that, maybe he would have handled this differently.
Right.
Or like weirdos that are like, "Oh, well, I know Sebastian because my child's
Or
autistic." It's like,
maybe
well,
if
no.
he understood his wife's mental illness instead of
Mm-mm.
thinking that, a shower can just
Is
make
gonna
all
fix
better.
all.
In other words, get away from me, go take a shower and calm down. That's how I took that. It's like
Yeah,
kind of condescending. And
very
then, hey, here's
misogynistic.
$4. Oh, or they're $4 or whatever. It's like, oh my God.
Right. Go get a $4 shower at some shacky place down the street, you very small, petite, vulnerable woman.
And I plunder released the new body cam from that day when she's talking to the female officer. We've never seen that. So
Are you
I
gonna
wanna
play it?
yeah, I wanna play that after I get through all these things. Okay.
I found the
So
11 questions.
oh, did you read them?
Yeah. You wanna throw them up really quick, or you want me to just read
Sure. Yeah,
them?
you can post them.
They're very interesting because you would think these would kinda be standard.
Somebody had put them in my chat and I read them from chat, so I haven't really
Yeah.
seen them like, oops, sorry about that.
So number 1, did the aggressor ever use a weapon against you or threaten you with a weapon? Hmm. 2, did the aggressor ever threaten to kill you or your children? Do you believe the aggressor will try to kill you? Has the aggressor ever choked you or attempted to choke you? They ask you all this when you're getting like restraining orders and stuff. Does the aggressor have a gun or could the aggressor easily obtain one? Is
Okay,
the
so
aggressor
far, Brian would hit 4 and 5.
right? Is the aggressor violently or constantly jealous? Or does the aggressor control most of your daily activities? He would have been that one too.
Mhm.
Did you leave or separate from the aggressor after you were living together or married? Is the aggressor unemployed? That's a
Yes.
big one.
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, has the aggressor ever attempted to unalive? Do you have a child whom the aggressor believes is not the aggressor's biological child? The fuck? Has the aggressor ever followed, spied on, or left threatening messages for you? Is there anything else that worries you about your safety? And if so, what worries you?
I like the number 12, the open-ended question, because some women may lie about those other ones, but if there's anything that worries you about your safety, if so, what worries you?
But what if you're in a situation like Gabby was, where she's kind of like, no, like just don't separate. Like they're codependent. They don't want to be separated. Like, are you even going to get honest answers to these questions?
Well, you may not. You may not, but it can't hurt to try and like leave that open-ended question. And also it's their presentation. I felt like that female officer was not very empathetic and she was like a park ranger. You know what I mean? She was just kind of
Yeah.
like a hard ass. And I just think that if they were a little more in their, like I don't know, not so condescending in their delivery. But then again, we're asking a lot. You know what I mean? We're asking
Right.
a
And it's
lot of
hindsight. We see it
officers.
all in
Mhm.
hindsight.
Right. I mean, it's great to discuss it though, and you just hope that, if someone really feels scared, they will tell the truth. But I know what you're saying. If you think it's just going to blow over and you're in this cycle where you've accepted this abuse, as just part of your relationship, you're just going to think this is just another situation that's going to blow over
Right.
because it's already reached its peak, right? Now you're going to be into like the whole lovey dovey stage until it blows up again. And
Yeah.
Brian was very insecure, right? Like scared probably he was going to lose her. She was, I mean, like, I pictured this too. Okay. Like, as a creator, this is what really got me and what I really like resonated with me. She was doing editing, right? You and I know, like, I don't, I've edited videos and they take forever, right? It is tedious. Imagine doing that from a fucking on the road. Like, it's already stressful enough if you're going to be editing, but
Right.
to do it on the road and it's so time consuming. Now, what I learned in this documentary is that Brian didn't even know how to use a computer. She was running his Instagram for him because she said, "Your art is so amazing. The world needs to see this. Let's start you an Instagram." He wasn't about it. He didn't
Well,
go online. He wasn't that type. So you had someone who completely was against that. And I think he agreed to the van life because he loved to be outdoors and hike. And he probably thought, this is amazing. I'm going to be able to hike to my heart's content. Well, guess what? She needed to go to hot spots and cafes and sit there for 5 hours, which is what happened the day they got in the fight. She was in there for 5 hours editing. And he was like, this is fucking ridiculous. What are you doing? Like, how stupid is this?
well, it sounded like he didn't want much to do with the social media aspect of things. He just wanted to be more free and travel. And she was more like, well, she was into it. It was her inspiration.
Yeah, she wanted this to be her career, right?
Hmm.
And this is like the kind of look oh, wait, let me reshare. This is the look he gave her when she she actually was like, "Oh, we have a place for your dirty feet." And she panned down to his feet that were bare feet. Like this kid was always barefoot and she was obviously a perfectionist, right? And he kind of just rolled his eyes. Like you could tell, you could when you watch some of these scenes, you could really feel the tension that was building. It's hard being in a van and traveling with someone and being with them 24/7 and if you're not on the same page, you're fucked.
Well, you think about it this way too. You're in the small condensed area. You're now totally codependent on each other. You're pinching pennies. Yeah, the tension would build absolutely for anybody.
For anybody.
Right.
And if they both weren't on board with this videoing and editing, because at one point they show like a where they're recording and she goes, you know what? If you knew how to edit, my life would be so much easier. And then the clip ends. So you could tell that he didn't understand what she was doing. She didn't feel like he appreciated what she was trying to do. And it was just building and building and building. But what I don't understand is when they were out there, why did he fly home in August to empty out a storage unit and then go back? What was that trip all about, really? That's what's unanswered to me. That's one of my unanswered questions.
Did they not give a theory about that or anything?
Uh-uh. Nothing.
Wow.
They just said he
Mm.
flew back. His dad said they had to they were emptying out a storage unit to save money so they could continue their trip. But why would you spend all that money to fly home just to empty a storage unit? Like you could just get a U-Haul truck and hire a couple movers to just move that shit in a couple hours. Like why go through all that? I feel like maybe there was something that happened before then. He left, but I don't know what he went home and did for a week. Like she was by herself and that was when she reached out to her ex who popped up in this documentary here. This is Jackson. What a
Maybe they
cutie,
were
huh?
actually maybe they were actually fighting and it was one of those like we're done. And then that's why they emptied the storage thing because he's like, fuck this, I'm done with her.
Maybe they were breaking up.
Yeah, I
And
don't
that's when
know.
she switched to Snapchat, started Snapchatting this dude. And I wonder if he didn't come back and catch her. Because she called this guy or texted him and said, I'm probably the last person in the world you want to hear from right now, but I need to talk. And they got on the phone and she had a plan that she was going to leave Brian. And then she ended up telling Brian, I could make more money being a solo female van lifer. And that was the night she was killed.
That's so devastating.
It's horrible because they actually had it down. The FBI guy was on there and they had it down to, they figured out like she texted her mom and said, Brian said I can keep the van if I pay him. And then her mom said, are you breaking up? And she replied, no, I just told him I could make more money as a female solo van lifer with the laughing face. And then she said, I'm driving to the campsite now. So the plan was Brian was going to go for a hike, leave her alone so she could work on her stuff in the van. But that was the night she was killed. So after those texts, the FBI, like on her computer, saw she was moving files and it was like the same pattern she had done whenever she got on her computer. So they thought it was her. Around 8:30 was the last activity on her computer, and after that, it was nothing. And then the next day, her grandfather kept calling, and Brian texted her mom and pretended to be Gabby and said, "Can you please talk to Stan? I don't have any signal or whatever." And her mom caught it because Gabby didn't call her grandpa Stan. She called him grandpa. So after 8:30 that night is the last activity from Gabby.
That is so freaking sad.
Isn't it? Here's them. This is actually at the park where he was found dead. I've been there before. There's a bridge right before you get to the trail where he went and killed himself.
Mm,
They're at that park there.
he's so ugly.
Isn't he weird? He just is weird. Oh, here it is. Here's the text. I'm fine. I convinced Brian to go camp out in the woods so I can have the van to myself. It's what he wants to do anyway. I don't care. He said I could have the van if I paid him. And then her mom said, are you breaking up? And she said, no, I just said I could make more money as a solo female van lifer. Hey, Bones. I still haven't been able to watch more than the first episode. I was so mad watching the body cam footage again. Yeah, it's heartbreaking in hindsight, man. It really is. So another thing that was
Look,
interesting. What?
this is what I deal with every time I'm streaming. Look at this. Look at this thing.
Aw,
She'll just sit here and bite at me.
is that Nellie?
Oh, yeah. She's a monster.
I've never seen. So that really is Nellie on your screen when you go live?
I mean, no. It just looks
Oh,
like
it
her.
looks like her. Oh.
But like the whole time, this is what she does. And then she'll block the keyboard. She sits in my face like a toddler. Like a
Why does
toddler.
she gnaw on you like that? She's beautiful, though. I love her.
I don't know. I mean, right now she's trying to play with me, but they say when they do that is because they're showing you love. So say hi now, you little brat. She's actually funny looking. She's not cute. She's
She is
goofy looking.
cute. I like her nose.
Yeah, she has like a weird little smush face. But this is like literally what I deal with when I'm streaming. And she'll do this until either I give her food or walk away.
She's cute. I love it.
It's normal, right? Freaking cats.
Granny is beautiful too. Is she teething? Is
Is she
shit-
tea? Yeah, right? Freaking knock her out. No, she's evil or something. She's evil.
All cats can be evil.
Get
Let's
away.
face it.
God.
Hey, Mr. Positive.
They only bother you when she only bothers me like a toddler. Like when I'm on here, she bothers me. So that's why I keep muting because I keep like pushing her away and saying, leave me alone and all that. So I'm
Doesn't
sorry
she
that I'm
also
not.
knock things off your desk and stuff?
Oh my God. Everything like my chapstick, my earbuds, anything. Yeah. Well, that is really sweet of you, One Eye Flow. Thank you. Should have gotten a dog. No. The blueberry facial. Okay, I didn't mean to distract, but
No,
that's
you're
why
okay.
I keep muting. And I don't want to seem like I'm not engaged with you. It's just that she was really like,
Oh, no, you're okay.
full blown annoying.
Okay, so another part that came out in there that I thought was interesting is that This Jackson guy, the ex-boyfriend, after they didn't hear from Gabby and they started to like, you know, Nicole reached out to her dad to see if she had heard from her. So I don't know how many days it had exactly been, but I found it interesting that Gabby's mom reached out to Jackson and said, "Hey, sorry to bother you. Have you heard from Gabby? I'm starting to worry." So I think that Gabby's mom must have known that they were talking.
Or must have known, well, yeah, it could be that they were talking, or that, out of, like, maybe Gabby didn't well, we know Gabby didn't have a lot of friends, right?
Right.
So at
Small
that
group of
point,
friends.
right. So you at that point, you kind of, like, all right, here's this guy she used to date. Maybe he knows something. Maybe he heard something.
Right. It was just wild. Like she reached out to him. It sounded like at the same time she reached out to the dad. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, maybe she said that, she was talking to him again or something. Maybe in passing, just kind of interesting because that was the first, I never even knew she had an ex.
Well, and for all we know, she might have said something to Brian, like, I should have stayed with him, or, you know, you go ahead and do, I don't know, whoever knows. Like, she could have threw him in Brian's face too.
True. We don't know.
I hope she did. I hope she at least, like, I don't know, I hope she made
Like
Brian
he
feel
was
like
a
the
real
piece of shit
man.
he was, right.
Okay. So then so now we're after he's supposedly going on this hike and, she convinced him to go and she's going to work on her thing. We have no activity after that 8:30, right? Well,
Right.
then, this was what was wild. So when all this went down, this lady named Norma had went online and said that she picked up Brian and dropped him
Mhm.
off at the campground.
Mhm.
There was the other girl, Miranda Baker, who also picked him up. But this Norma guy, Norma lady, I actually got on the phone with her and she was going to come on my show.
Oh,
And
no
then,
shit.
but all of this was happening and she figured out, like, the cops told her not to talk. Like,
Oh.
she was supposed to come on and then, like, later that day, she was like, "I can't do it, like, this is part like, that really was him." Like, we weren't 100% sure. She just thought it was. But after she spoke with the cops, it was like she's like, "I can't come on. Like, it is him." And I was like, "Holy shit." So she was on there, and Norma picked him up off the side of the road, and he was hitchhiking, and she said that he seemed normal, but he kinda stunk like BO. And she said that he hopped in the vehicle. When she turned the corner, her Bible was on the dashboard because she had just left church. It fell into his lap. And like she remembers this and him picking up the Bible and putting it back on the dashboard. And they had like this real dramatic scene with it. You know what I mean?
Right, of course.
But she pulled into the campsite and there was like a long road to where their van was. And she was like, "Do you want me to drive you back?" And he was like, "No, no, no, I'll get out here."
And
So
she
she
figured it was like, "Oh, he don't want his girlfriend to know."
Right, right, that's exactly what she thought. Because he said, "My girlfriend's in the van, working on her vlog or whatever." And so she just drove away like nothing, and then all this happens. So she was on there. And then, um, I think what happened next was that Gabby's mom contacts Joe, and then Joe and Gabby's mom are reaching out to the laundries because 'cause they're like, "We're worried about both of them," you know? Ne Are both of them missing? Did they fall down a cliff? Are they both hurt? They're lost or whatever. That's when they reach out to the laundries. And Nicole actually texted Roberta and said, "Have you heard from the kids? I'm getting worried." And Roberta, like, it was delivered like iPhone. And then the next one was green. She had blocked her after the first text.
What a bitch.
So Joe got on a plane and went down there and went to their door, like, they wouldn't answer. So then he went to the cops and they did this press conference begging for them to speak. It was horrible.
Like, could you even imagine, I guess it's a position none of us want to imagine ourselves in ever. But just as, like, Gabby lived with them and stuff, like, they were, you know what I mean? Like, can you imagine being so heartless? And I get it, like, a mother trying to protect their son, like, to an extent, I understand it. But to go as far as to block, to not even respond at all, to just leave them sitting there, you know, fucking
Hanging.
worrying
Mhm.
away
It's evil, man.
is
It's just
evil.
evil.
Nasty
And
fucking
they
hag.
had no remorse either.
Hey,
No
Goody.
remorse.
No, none, zero.
So, these guys are the YouTubers actually that drove by and saw the van. Remember them? Red, White, and Bethune. They
Oh yeah,
don't even
sure
look
do.
recognizable. They look so different. So different.
They were on there too.
Yep, this is
Mm,
them on the show. I didn't even recognize them at first, but yeah, they had the footage from their dash cam, went back, drove right past the van. Don't say YouTubers don't solve crimes. They help narrow down that area
yeah,
because
that
all they
if
had,
it weren't for them, yeah,
they would, that's what they said. If it weren't for them, they would have been searching forever because they only had like a broad area from the cell phone.
right,
They would have had to cover all of that. But them seeing exactly where it gives me goosebumps. Them seeing exactly where that van was, she was just, she wasn't far from the van.
right.
And they went through it and looked and found it. Crazy. Good for them. She's awesome. Look at her. She's got logs hanging from her earrings and everything. Like she is loving the earth. I love it. Big crystals around her neck. I love her vibe. But how wild, right?
What are the odds?
Jesus. Hey, sleuths. Gabby's case changed the way we get information out on missing persons.
Did it?
Right.
Yeah.
Did they change something? I don't remember what they did with that. You know what else they did address in the documentary was how white people get like all the attention on missing people and how like
Oh yeah.
like the black people don't really get covered. They did like kind of address that and recognize it, which I thought was pretty cool because it is true. Like
Well, and it's not just white people. It's normally like the ideal, you
blonde
know.
hair, blue eyed. I mean, that is why
Right.
it got the coverage it did. She was like America's girl. Just
Yeah.
like John Benet Ramsey, right?
Right. And Summer Wells and Mike Yvonne and all these. I mean, even Sebastian Rogers. They have your everyday perfect American features.
Mhm. So the really sad thing was when at the end, her family all took a trip, like all her siblings, they all went out there to where she was found. There's like a
Mm.
little memorial there. And
Imagine knocking down a memorial.
right. And they spread her ashes out there.
Mm. That
But
must have been so hard.
yeah, she was found out there. But what's wild is that
Well,
the
I
stage was seen, or it was staged. They said she was in the fetal position on her side. Her boots were off and they were on the ground next to her. There was a fire that looked like it had been like a small fire, but there were no fire starting materials. And that's how she lay. And so my theory is that they got in a fight at the van. I think he strangled her. This is my theory. I think he strangled her. And I think when he took her down to like she was still breathing, and that's why she had the head injury. That's just my speculation. She had blunt force trauma to the head and manual strangulation.
I would imagine he probably hit her with something and realized he went too far,
And
and
then
then
did the other?
mhm.
Oh, the mattress. That's right. The mattress was gone out of the van. So it probably happened in the van. He may have hit her with something in the van. Could have been his
Yeah, kinda
hand.
like a, "Shut the fuck up," and
Right.
then
Just lose your shit. Yes.
oh,
And then stage where he left her to look like she passed out by a campfire. Yeah, I wondered why her boots were off, but probably because she was in the van, she didn't have them on because she didn't wear her shoes in the van. She
right.
So the boots, he probably carried them down there and set them next to her. How fucking weird. And then he
You
wrote that weird thing in his notebook.
Like he was like being a hero.
Mhm.
You don't think I don't think Brian didn't love her. Like in his sick mind, I think he loved her too much. Like if you look at what that guy, like his notebooks and his writings and all, like he had a warped mind. And I wouldn't be surprised if in some sort of way he like the fire, like he did some weird like because I don't think he did it on purpose. Sorry,
I
hold on.
think he lost his shit. But I don't know, man. His mom writes him a letter. If you if you need to hide the body, I'll bring the shovel.
Right.
No, I'm sure that mattress was full of blood. That's what I would
Oh,
imagine. Yeah, like an obsessed, like if I can't have you, no one can. I picture him to be the type too, like if she talked about separating, that he'd be like threaten suicide. Like I can't live without you type thing, like the whole manipulation of that. Right, peekaboo. I think that's what she meant. Like in his sick mind, it was love. Cause like look at his mom. His mom's obsessed with him. Maybe that's what he thinks love is. This weird obsession. Did you ever think of that? Yeah, if you go to jail, I'll bake a cake with a file. Let's pull up this body cam. Want to? But this is Mr.
yeah.
Laundry, Brian and his mom.
Ugly, ugly, and ugly.
Aren't they wild?
Yeah.
They are just the most wild people I've
Weird.
ever heard of. Yeah,
Pieces
Roberta
of shit.
owned Brian, so Brian owned Gabby. Do you
Mm-mm-mm.
guys remember too when Roberta, oh my God, I'll never forget this. When the neighbor, then we went to the neighbor of Roberta, her Facebook, the people that Fox News paid to sit in their front yard and film. They paid like 1,500 a week to these people. I was like, holy shit, what a score. So like Fox News was there and they were talking to this lady that lived there and she was posting on Facebook about it and she goes, yeah, Roberta told me that Gabby was so unmotivated and just smoked pot all the time. And I remember reading that. I was so mad. But now we hear about like how ambitious she actually was.
Right. It was
And
probably her own son that was like that.
right. And she's telling the neighbor all she does is smoke pot. She hated Gabby. She was jealous of Gabby. There was a pie incident too, where his mom baked a pie and no one said anything about it. And she had a fit.
Oh, yeah, like one of those.
Yep, and then another incident, Gabby was getting ready to go to the store and his mom made some kind of comment and they showed the text between Brian and Gabby and she was like, "I'm scared to walk out of the room. I feel like I did something wrong." And he's like, "Just say bye to her and go on your way." So
Yeah,
Roberta
like, oh, she
was
gets like that sometimes. Just say bye and
that's what he said. He goes, "This is how it was growing up. Just say
right.
bye and go on your way." I was like, "Oh man." Lots of red flags, I think it's just like good to recognize those too, right, Granny? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just a shame that Gabby didn't not just recognize them, but listen to them and run for her life from this piece of shit.
I know. Oh, one more picture. This is the Mustang when Brian went to the park to off himself. He left the Mustang parked there. And I was floored because I've been there before and there's a big, huge parking lot. It's all like dirt. I have no idea why he parked on their grass on the other side of the fence because you don't park there. And look at the stupid idiots just mowed around it. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, now that's kind of fucking funny.
It's fucking wild. I was like, what is going on?
They just mowed around it. Like,
Yes. Didn't even
oh, that's a little
dude, and
funny.
this is like 5 minutes from his house, y'all. 5 minutes.
Mm,
What the fuck? And I'm telling you, if you keep going down this little road here, there's like a big open gravel area to park. And it's like, what? He literally drove on the yard part.
Maybe he felt like if he was in the parking lot, people would see it quicker.
Yeah, but this isn't hidden. It's a wide open it's just weird where he parked it. And look at them. They were just like, "Brr, we'll just
Right,
mow
just
around
all
it."
around it.
Jesus Christ.
That's fucking funny.
I'm trying to see. Let me make sure I showed all the pictures that I took. It was a good one though. If you guys haven't watched it. Yeah, I did. I showed them all. All right, let's pull up Plunder's body cam. I haven't watched it yet. I saved it for this. All right. Oh God, here's the lady. She starts it out with the lady asking her, "Are you sweating to death yet?" Lord have mercy. Okay, here we go.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, super good. Nice to meet you. I don't trust anybody. So this is a good option. I know it's not optimal, but this is you not going to jail. I can't get one in a place I don't know where I am. Well, I know I'm used that. I know. But I mean, you could get a hotel. You could get another campground. Are you guys gonna stay in the campground tonight?
So let's talk about what happened August 12th.
I was gonna go get a time lapse. As long as you're not sleeping in the car, so you do need another place to go after the time lapse. You know, it takes like 4 hours. So I was gonna do it like all night and then get back in the car and see sunlight camp. Okay. Because I know you wouldn't be right next to him, but if that or you go to jail and then you're alone without him that way. And it's for tonight. It's to satisfy the courts to basically say that we've eliminated at least the aggression for now. We've given you guys some space and time to calm down. I just don't want to be separated at all. It was just a silly argument. I was just going to get lost. A silly argument where it came to putting hands on each other and he's got marks. Silly arguments shouldn't involve hurting each other. I know you didn't, that wasn't the intention, but silly arguments shouldn't go that far. Thank you. I'll trust you. Don't open. I'll give you money. Thank you. Okay. Oh, okay, got it. Go for it. I've been doing step by step with everybody else. No, don't worry, I'm not backing for anything. Sorry, no, it's okay. Thank you. You sure? Okay. It's not as cold, but it's good. And did I hear correctly? He's your boyfriend? Yes. Fiance. Okay. How you doing? It's okay if you're not okay. I just want to make sure. What was that? So I distracted him while we were driving, and he's like hurt a little bit. Oh, that's I don't know what the scratches on her face are from. I hit him just like I can't even hit him that hard. Like he's really a lot stronger than me. I don't know. It's not like I could even hurt him, but I just hit him like slightly, like I guess in the chest, and I slapped him across the face, but like open, like almost that. Okay. Did he strike you at any time? Did you ever get physical, or do you think it was all on yourself? No, he did a little bit, just to get back. Not to hurt you, to stop you. I'm not gonna lie, I can't do it. It made me feel really bad saying it, but I know I am. Well, it's some self-reflection. Yeah. I'm thinking about our actions going on. That's okay. We can always be better, right? We can always think about why we're doing what we're doing. Not many people get that opportunity to just pick up and go. Yeah, it's trying really hard to set like a travel vlog. Take a deep breath. Yeah. I know. You can still do that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I sat for quite a few hours, something 5 hours at the coffee shop down there. Yeah. Working really hard and everything. She just like drinking something or something. Like, oh, it's usually 5 hours, right? I wrote like 5 paragraphs. Why? She has no idea. He doesn't even know what I'm doing.
What happened to transform Gabby on that day, a weeping girl, into a confident young woman who texted her mother only 15 days later on Friday, August 27th, 2021.
Yeah, when you grow up, you're a full-grown man. This is what you'll drink from. Plus it's ice cold, so I'm going to drink from it. Sorry. You'll probably never be a full-grown man. And then you do curls with it. Then you do your curls. So, look, I'm going to speak to you, and I'm looking at you not so much like a suspect, but also kind of a victim, in the sense that you're dealing with some struggles emotionally and mentally at your age. Probably the work themselves out as you get older. There's a lot of things at your age, and I remember being your age too. And hopefully it works itself out. But the stuff you did today that contributed to this, you both contributed to this, is as a result of your inability to cope with the anxiety. So in a way, you're kind of a victim of this. I think you would have done better if you had the skills to do better. You don't learn skills until you learn skills. You don't have enough life experience yet to know how to navigate everything. Like, I don't either, but I can navigate what happens. If I was in your shoes, I can handle it. But I've got a lot of life lessons to learn still, because like my dad and my grandpa, they don't survive, right? They can survive. So in a way, I'm just letting you know that we sympathize with you. But based on what you said, based on what our witnesses said, based on what your fiance has mentioned, trying very hard to not have you in any trouble. He does have marks on him. The witnesses say was caused like slapping him. And that even you say you slapped him and were addressing him first. And I don't have anyone saying he actually punched you aggressively. It sounds like it was shoving in a manner that was probably more consistent with trying to prevent you from entering the van or to get space from you, not to assail you, if that makes sense. So, if the tables were turned and he was beating on you and you were shoving him, of course we're going to look at it like, oh, of course he's defending himself to get away from this guy. But we're kind of looking at the same way with him. So we have to treat both fair, even if he's a bigger male and you're a smaller female. The law doesn't say, hey, you can treat people different based on gender under the same as we can. Even if it makes no sense that you probably could not physically destroy this man the way that he could have attacked you. We can't treat you different. Okay? So all that long-windedness I'm giving you right now is leading up to the fact that if I put someone on proceeding, I have the right to give them a warning. I have something called officer discretion. But in the legislature in Utah, they have made a law that if we have a domestic assault, they don't trust the police to make good decisions.
Leave that right there.
We're not going to give you discretion. We're going to write a law that says if you have a domestic assault, whether it's male on female or female on male, whoever the primary aggressor is, has to be charged. No choice. You don't get to give a warning. It doesn't matter if he's barely hurt at all, the guy doesn't want to test charges, or the girl doesn't want to test charges. We don't have a choice. We literally have a choice. He does not want to test charges. He says, you guys are a team, he says, you're a fiance, he says, he loves you, he says, he doesn't want anything to happen. But we're saying then you don't have any choice. So, we're going to have, we're trying to get local victims advocates to get him a hotel so that you can have, they won't give you the hotel because you're the one who's the primary aggressor. They're going to consider him, they're going to get him. He wants you don't have to go to jail. The only thing we can do is take you to jail. Because suppose she doesn't have to go to jail, then I will accept to take him out and give me a hotel and she can have a man and she wouldn't have to go to jail.
Okay, so he's saying exactly what you said. They're supposed to take the primary aggressor to jail.
Right.
So why didn't they?
Right, because they felt empathetic. Because in this case, the primary aggressor admittedly, just by what they know, was Gabby.
Was it because of what she looks like and her size?
Absolutely.
That they decided not to?
Absolutely. Absolutely. She's a thin, petite, beautiful young girl, and they felt empathetic for her. She comes off empathetic. Look at her. Would you be able to cuff her? She's sitting there, she's apologetic, she's hyperventilating, she's so sorry, she's far from home. The cop even said he has, he has children. The other cop said his wife. They saw their own in her. If she was, and I hate to say it, but if she was like a 400-pound girl, she would have been arrested.
So they
Yes.
were trying to they thought they were trying to help her?
They thought it was a one end, offhand situation. They're traveling together, young couple, times are tough.
They need to
Yeah,
blow
I
off
don't think
some
they
steam.
ever, right. I don't think they ever imagined what would happen happened. But that's why they have the fucking law that he's referencing. That is why. Because it doesn't matter what you think.
They should
They
have
failed.
followed the law.
Right. Hey, TT, thank you,
'Cause
girlfriend.
you know what? I bet you if she would have got thrown in jail, her mom would have made her come home.
Her mom would have went and picked her up and said, "This is it. We're done. You're done, Gabby. You're
Yep.
done." It would have been a huge wake-up call for both of them.
Because her mom was already like, just end the trip. Like, just come home.
Right.
And she's like, no, it'll be fine. But if her ass would have ended up in jail,
Right.
somebody, either her stepdad or her dad or her mom, would have been out there.
Well,
You're coming
even the
home.
cops saying it, right? Like, she's like, "I just wanted to work on my van life." And the cop's like, "You will, da-da-da." Like, they're all making it like it's not a big deal what just happened. It is. You had 2 witnesses call in and say they've witnessed this man hitting her. That's why they have already in place what they had in place. So I'm glad on respect for the Petitos that they were able to get this, 11 questions things passed. But who's to say the next cop's not going to answer those 11 questions and then put his own opinion on it anyway? They didn't follow the law here. And I'm pretty sure, didn't at least one of the cops come out and speak after?
I don't remember.
I
Not
feel
that
like I feel like one did. Because they got a lot of heat.
They did. I think, they
Rightfully
may
so.
have. They may have. Yeah, I mean, their choices ultimately, unfortunately, she ended up, dead within
Right.
a couple weeks of this.
Right.
Eeyore Blues has been a member of the Felon Melons for 3 months.
Woo, Eeyore. Thank you so much. It feels weird that I can't highlight you guys and stuff. I'm sorry.
I know. You don't have control. It's bothering you.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if it would have saved her life, right? Like we don't know if it would have. We don't know if it wouldn't have. I think that's a heavy thing to put on these cops. I guarantee a lot of them, all of them that were there that day feel horrible as is. You know what I mean? Like that's a real heavy burden. Brandy, thank you. But at the same time, it's like, dude, the law's there in place for a reason. Well, we can't say it would have still happened, Tammy, but we can't say it wouldn't have.
Yes, there was a gun in the van. He had a gun. I mean, I don't know if it was in the van. I shouldn't say that, but he did have a gun because there was a video of them shooting it into the woods at the park where he actually died. It was weird. They were driving in the car through the park and she was shooting his gun into the woods. I was like, damn, I hope no one's out there fucking hiking.
I saw that. That was really reckless.
Uh-huh.
That was reckless.
Yeah, you can't just you can't just shoot guns like that. The fuck? Just driving down the road. I don't know, man. They were kind of maybe they felt like Bonnie and Clyde, you know what I mean? Like
free spirited.
We're a team. We're, yeah.
I'm sure they
Just
did.
young and dumb. 22 years old. 22 years old, young and think
right.
The world's yours.
And you're living together and, you think you're so in love and he's proposing without a ring. She didn't see what a loser he was. And it's very unfortunate. And then, like you showed in the beginning, Gabby's mother shows pictures of her when she had Gabby. She was only 20 herself when she had Gabby.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine losing your child at the age where you had them. Like that is just devastating.
Oh, it's horrible. Because they were finally to a place where they could probably start to be friends, Like you get to that point with your daughters. Like my daughter is 23 and we're now like friends. Whereas, because it's so hard being a teenager and raising a teenage girl but it's crazy. And they were getting to that age where, they could talk more openly and not, so much like a judgmental, like, oh, I don't want to tell my mom. I feel like they were getting closer like that. Moving into the next stage of their life, you know what I mean? Petty AF. Why is my mouse keeps I need a new mouse. Petty AF member for 6 months. Thank you so much for your support. Good afternoon, Shelby Lynn. I think my mouse pad is worn out.
Thank you, Shelby. We did this last minute.
We did. Okay, let's see what else is in here. I want to get to where she's got a lot of commentary, so I'm trying to just find the body cam. Okay, let's see. This is the part where she's talking to the female. I don't think we've heard this before.
Hey, you guys started traveling in New York?
Yeah, all my family.
Oh, okay. Where'd you guys meet?
New York. We went to the same school. They're all
Okay. Is this usually how the arguments go? I mean, has this happened before?
Not really.
Not really? Okay.
Not like, not crazy like this.
Okay. So this is abnormal. This doesn't happen a lot.
This is okay. Yeah, I think it's something you're really dehydrated. I haven't drank water all day.
Yeah, you gotta drink that water. Yeah, we're just trying to paint a picture to get all the pieces together to make sure you're good.
Yeah.
To make sure you're both good. Yeah.
Usually everything's okay. I think it's just dehydration and frustration.
Yeah. And so you said that you guys were, it got heated, he locked you out of the car, but then you got back in the car, and
Yeah,
then...
I get out of the car just like he went for a walk too, and was like,
Okay, so you were both out of the car.
he's like,
Okay.
take a breather outside. I'm gonna walk over here. And I was like, no, please let me in.
Okay. And how did you distract him while you were driving? You said that he kind of swerved and hit the curb. You said that you were distracting him.
Oh yeah, I yelling and I like touching his shoulder a little bit, like just like lightly, and like
Okay, so this to me, like they were getting pulled over, the cop turned his lights on and she like punched him in the arm like, "You idiot, like we're getting pulled over." Well, what he did was he turned and like his whole body at her, which then made him hit the curb. So she didn't really like hit him to where, he lost control of the steering wheel, so to speak.
Do you think it's safe to hit somebody while they're driving?
I wasn't trying to do it hard, but then he looked at me. So
Okay, that's when he... Okay.
Thank you,
like,
Jammers.
whole body,
Okay.
Can you pause a minute, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know some people don't like me saying it, but the fact of the matter is what she's saying here is why she should have been arrested. I mean, regardless, if you, like you just said it, like it was lighthearted, like, oh, like a light heart. You don't know that she lightheartedly punched him. His steering wheel yanked. She said she was out of control. She needed to calm down. She has, built up tension. Her OCD was it wasn't a light punch. She's hitting a driver while he's driving a vehicle. So at that point, if Brian, turned around and hit her, or he withheld, that's why the scratches on her arm, he grabbed her arm or whatever, she just admitted to assault. Even a cop, like, allowing her to be like, it was just like silly, like, no, you're an adult now. It's not silly. It's not silly. None of this is silly. You don't get to hit somebody when they're driving. It's not silly. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
what people are like letting that be like washed over, because we now know she's a victim. God rest her soul. But the fact of the matter is she should have been arrested.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is way different looking at it, that we know what the outcome was, right? These cops didn't know that there was, I mean, she says, not really. We've never really had a crazy fight like this.
Right. Well, that's it, right? We know the outcome. But if you look at it without that outcome, the fact of the matter is what it is. She's admitting to assault.
But then we have the witness, like Cheech says, but he was hitting her on the street.
Well, I mean, yeah, but Gabby also downplays that and says I was out of control.
And they both had marks. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, because she is admitting to it. And he's not. He's saying, "Oh, I was just trying to keep her off me." See, he played his cards right to manipulate his way out of the situation. He didn't
Right, like an
admit to
abuser.
slapping her. Yeah, he didn't admit to slapping her.
Mm-mm.
He
He
said,
did what
"Oh,
an
yeah."
abuser did. I was protecting myself. She was hitting me. I was trying to get her to stop. I told her to get out and take a breath. I wouldn't let her back in until she cooled down because she was hurting me. He fucking did a good job at it.
She's crazy. I was just trying to keep her off me. I locked
Right.
her out of the van because she was out of control.
And then on the other hand, you have Gabby herself saying, "Yeah, I'm out of control. I was completely out of control. I was hitting him. He didn't hurt me.
Right.
He was just telling me to stop." So from that perspective,
Right. So what do we do about that? I mean, the victim often covers for the abuser. So how do you get past that?
that's why they have the law they have. That's why they made the law that the cop references here, which is no matter what, because of these situations where, yeah, you can be duped into feeling bad, or you can be manipulated into seeing the situation different. It's not new that women cover up for their abusers, or vice versa. Men can be abused as well, and they'll cover up for it. That's why the cops had a law to abide by, but instead they allowed their personal and emotional feelings to come in the way of doing their job. That's why didn't Gabby's family sue the police?
Yeah, it was thrown out of court, though, because the police got immunity.
Which is bullshit. They should have gotten immunity. Gabby didn't.
Right. But yeah,
Thank you,
I totally
Aristocrat.
get what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just the way the law is. And the fact that it's ironic that is referenced in this. And then look at this. This will be a case that they will show at police stations to study to come. Like in this case, the cops thought the same thing. Like, oh, we know we have this law, but this situation. So, and then this young girl ends up deceased, and so does he.
Yeah, it's a very extreme situation, but nonetheless, it happened.
He's got some other scratches, looks like, on his face. Did you hit him on the arm? Did you hit him on the side of his head?
I don't know what the scratches on her face are from. I hit him just like I can't even hit him that hard. Like he's really a lot stronger than me. I don't know. It's not like I could even hurt him, but I just hit him like slightly, like I guess in the chest, and I slapped him across the face, but like open.
Well, I mean, there you go. I slapped him across the face with an open hand. But he says she's got rings. So those rings probably, marked his face.
Right. And he's like, "You see it? Do you see the mark?" Yeah.
Yeah. See, he's got the totally different demeanor. She's admitting it, what she did, but he's not.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe my rings hurt him, but
Okay.
He was looking at me.
Within his right side if he was driving? Or did he look at you and then...
No, he was looking at me, so it would have been your left. I don't know which side. But I don't know. He's always taking. He's very advocating, so the kind of cheese he's always kind of.
Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure. Did he strike you at any time? Did you ever get physical, or do you think it was all on yourself?
No, he did a little bit. Just to get back. Not to hurt you, to stop you. I'm
Right there.
I can't. It made me feel really bad saying it, but I know I am.
Well, it's some self-reflection.
Yeah.
It's thinking about our actions going on. That's okay. We can always be better, right? We can always think about why we're doing what we're doing. Okay. And so you said you haven't had a lot of water to drink today? That can affect everything.
Yeah. And then it's like staring at your
Yeah, that's a lot. You are just a fancy houseplant.
Yeah.
With emotions. You need to make sure you're drinking. Yeah. Okay. Have you guys been camping in the transit van too?
It's been great. We've been
Yeah, there's a lot.
I have like the dirt on my phone, so it tells you on sleep. You can like charge overnight. And so we've been following that and preserving the Western campground on the national park.
And how much longer is the trip? When were you headed back?
Actually, I didn't have a plan at all. Our plan was we're gonna go to Yellowstone and Glacier and make our way to Washington. And then we were gonna go to Portland, and that's where I kind of ended our plan. We were gonna start we've ever heard of Wolfing?
Of what?
Wolfing? It's worldwide opportunities on organic farms.
Oh, there it
is. It's
Is the music necessary?
Moving to Portland.
I know.
Like you were going to end this trip and then live there? You weren't going back to New York?
not to live there, not like to change my license or not to have any permanent address.
Oh, okay, just to try it out for a little bit?
Yeah. Just to chat.
Not many people get that opportunity to just pick up and go.
Yeah, it's trying really hard to start like a travel blog.
Take a deep breath. Yeah. I know. You can still do that. Yeah. You can try. Yeah. Yeah, have some more water. It's good for you. What's making you emotional right now? What are you thinking about?
I've just been working so hard for like the past probably months building it, and I don't know. I only have I give myself 3 more days, and I say I can launch it publicly.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I don't know why you did that.
I don't know. That for you.
What the fuck was that?
I don't know. It was her weird facts and this. I don't get it.
Gabby launched her YouTube channel 7 days later. Okay, that.
So she does a celebrate thing, yay!
Yeah, weird.
It's weird.
I don't know. I sat for quite a few hours, something 5 hours at the coffee shop down there.
Yeah.
Working really hard, and everything. She's just sarcastic or something. It's going to be 5 hours, right? I wrote 5 paragraphs. She has no idea. She doesn't even know what I'm doing.
It sounds like you guys might just need to work on your communication.
Yeah.
Have you told him how you feel? Have you told him how it affects you when he makes these sarcastic comments?
Yeah, and he's well, it took that long to do it. And so I don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
I'm it's okay that we can take 5 hours for a hike, but we can't take 5 hours to write about it.
And if it's important to you, yeah.
I've just been trying to get him more involved. I don't want to say the world, because the internet is the world.
No, but that's a doorway into it. That's the way a lot of people use it.
He's an amazing artist, and I am control of Instagram. I pretend to be him on Instagram. He's responsible. The world needs to see this, right? You do amazing stuff. And so I always encourage him, and he's I just want to not have phones and be in the market. That's great. That's a great lifestyle. You got to tell people that you want to live that way. It's hard because I'm the opposite. Yeah. On the computer,
you want to post about it. You want to, like you said, you want to write about it. Yeah.
Not for anything, but just to, I don't know, as a way of work. I want to have a travel blog. I have so many people who are traveling or want to travel, or so many people are stuck home and they read these blogs because they can't get out. So I think it's really important to share. And
it sounds like you guys just need to talk about it, because it's causing stress that you're kind of butting heads on it. He doesn't think it's worthwhile. You think it really is. And it's okay to have differing opinions. But when it comes to blows, when it comes to even just playful, even just, I didn't mean to hurt him, like you were saying, it's got to be better than this, It's got to be better than this. Where were you guys going to head to after this?
I was going to try to get a time lapse from the arch tonight of her, actually. So we were going to fill our water.
You got some time before it goes down. You're not. I wouldn't be worried about that right now.
That was my only plan for the night. Otherwise, I was just working on my computer literally all day. That was my plan. Just getting the water thing.
Have you guys been up to Delicate before?
I know, never. Okay. Yesterday was our first time.
Yeah, we like to call it the license plate arch because it's what you find on a lot of the Utah license plates. And we find that when a lot of people come to visit, and they say, "Where's the arch?" That's the arch they're talking about. Yeah. We have over 2,000 of them, but that is the one that everyone comes to see. Do you have footwear that's not flip-flops? Like maybe better arch support, or because you're going, it's a trail that you're hiking straight up the Slick Rock. Those are gonna not go too well for you.
Oh no, yeah, I have a hiking boots for I wear them there, and actually I'm barefoot. I keep them barefoot. Oh, nice.
I could not do that. No, thank you. Especially with how hot the rock is. I wouldn't even want to try it.
I don't know if you know what the Appalachian Trail is.
I do, yeah. I haven't been on it, but I do.
He hikes the whole thing. But I don't
think you're gonna sticker for that. I mean, that's awesome.
I know. I should send them
put your name on a plaque or something, because so very few people have done that.
Maybe not the entire stretch, but at least 95% of it. That's barefoot. And I've did it in my
That's pretty cool.
It was really, really nice. We went up the arch.
Did you catch that? What she said about the Appalachian Trail? That
No,
Brian hiked the whole thing, 95% of it barefoot.
Oh,
But
it's
she's
really hard to
talking
listen to this, to be honest. It's very mumbled, and
well, that's why
it's
I have
hard
the
to catch
captions
everything.
on. But yeah, she's saying that he went and hiked the Appalachian Trail and he did it 95% barefoot. She's kind of talking him up.
Right. Well, and again, the thing to remember here too is that she wanted to be really big into social media and he didn't. That would be aggravating for anybody. If you're out there just Brian's a nature lover, he wants to soak it in, and Gabby's more oh, let's record it. Hey, reenact that. Let's do that. And then spending all this time trying to edit the stuff together. And he's kind of why can't we just enjoy what we're doing? They just had two
totally different outlooks
and personalities.
Yep.
It's really a shame.
Yeah, it was really windy in these body cams. That's why. And Plunder had to boost the voice, which also boosts, unfortunately, the background audio. But
yeah,
you wouldn't be able to hear it if she didn't.
Yeah.
But the captions are doing a pretty good job of picking it up.
Yeah, but not everybody watches their phone. When I'm doing it, when I'm listening to people
on your phone. Yeah, gotcha.
You know what I mean? I don't look at the screen, so it gets a little difficult to listen to. But I think this lady's I think she's actually a very nice lady to her. She's calming her down. She's holding
I gotta say, I thought at first it was, there's not a whole lot of body cam left. Most of this is her commentary, but I think she was, I mean, what else is she going to say to her at that point?
Right. She's just treating her like a regular person, having a conversation with her.
Yeah. I don't think there's any more she could have done at that point.
No.
We went at probably 7 a.m. And it was Monday.
I was going to say, you said you'd never been there.
Yeah, the day. Yeah, I don't know what day it is today. I've lost track of time. We are camping in the park, so.
I just like this because we've never really heard Gabby talk too much. You know what I mean? Other than the clips that we've seen.
So we went.
And talking about their plans, she said they were going to go to Oregon or Portland and work on an organic farm or something.
Monday morning at 7 a.m. to see the arch. And there wasn't a lot of people up there. I was really surprised. There was a short line to wait and take your picture.
It's nice when people are actually waiting in line.
Yeah. I thought that. I was wow, that was really respectful of everyone getting their photo.
Yeah.
And so someone had kindly took our photo, and then we we went. I don't know, like you know how like that back of the arch, it like slopes down.
Yeah.
You can't really get on that side. There was like such like avid hikers. And I thought it was safe to go because it was still bare rock, and I thought like you're.
So she's telling a story though about when they were at the arches and she went down this cliff and like no one could get down there. And she got down there and these people were like, "Hey, how'd you get down there?" And then they followed, and I bet you those people freaking remember her.
The arch was just looking up, and it was like at the right angle, so you could only sometimes see people's hands sticking up when they were taking their photo. And that was really nice. We sat there for 2 hours. People were like, "How did you get over there?" Like, "Can I go?" And the guy tried to come our way.
There's some treacherous terrain out there. There is.
We had to climb like Spider-Man up the rock and help him back out to his wife, and she was laughing hysterical, giving us a big thumbs up.
Yeah,
like,
thank you.
but yeah, it was really funny that people were shouting at us like, "How did you do that?" Like, it was so nice.
Everyone's got to get that picture, right?
Yeah.
They want to be able to recreate it. But yeah, definitely drink your water, especially on that hike. That's gonna drain you real quick.
Oh yeah.
And then it's not an enjoyable hike for anybody. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it that way. He said he doesn't like to post things, but you're the one that's posting for him.
Yeah. I think that just came out. He was because like he feels like I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm working on so much, like and that like he feels bad that I'm working on so much, so that just came out because he feels like I think it just came out that he feels like I'm not enjoying it.
Oh, gotcha.
There you go, Granny. Bing bong. He feels like I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah. You know how I know that? Because believe it or not, I'm not a social media person. When like we go to like the beaches or we're going to like places like that, like I could have my phone in my bag all day. I don't care. I don't care.
You're not one to like capture. Yeah. I'm
No,
not a big
like
picture taker either.
matter of fact, when I took my son to his first concert, for the first half of it, I took his phone from him because everybody was watching the concert through their phones.
Yeah.
And I said, that's not how you experience a concert. Give me your phone. And I put it down and I made him watch with his eyes because that is how you experience. People aren't experiencing anymore. They're filming.
You are.
There's a huge difference.
You're so right. My son told me that he's like, when I'm at a concert, Mom, my phone's in my pocket. Like I don't even fuck with the phone.
Dude, you look at every concert people are at today and they're literally on their phones the whole time. And, and honestly, it's sad. It's devastating.
It is. It is.
You know? I just, unfortunately, if they were to have arrested Gabby at this point, maybe she would still be here today. Right. She should have been arrested. You know, people.
I don't disagree with that, you know, after hearing this. And
yeah. But, you know, somebody said earlier, well, the cops knew that Brian was the aggressor because he had the marks on his face. No, because Gabby straight up said I smacked him and I had rings on, implying that that's why he has scratches on his face. So they did not know that Brian, that's not defensive wounds. He was driving. He's saying that he was defending himself from her. And she admits it. She says it. Yeah. Again, she may have been saying that because she was, you know, covering for him. We don't know for sure.
I mean, if she would have said the same story that the 911 caller said, yeah, he was slapping me.
Right.
Like, then maybe it would have gone different, but she didn't. You're right.
Instead, she was kind of like, you know, he was hitting me because I was hitting him. He was trying to drive and I was doing this. And it's really sad, but that's what happened.
Hey, Kay Miller. Yeah, you go out to dinner, everyone's on a phone instead of talking.
Dude, they even have these like strap things that go onto strollers that hold phones so babies can watch the phones when they're being walked in a stroller.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
It's actually horrible.
So here, I mean, it's already bad enough that we have teens with GPS that can't go anywhere without GPS, and we're gonna have babies that can't look around at their surroundings. God almighty. We're gonna
imagine how many households social media is ruining.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but look at Chris and Shanann Watts.
That's what keeps coming to my mind, unfortunately.
I mean, just like Gabby, you know, it was all the pictures that they posted and everything else looked so great and so wonderful and picture perfect. But
Yeah.
behind the scenes, it wasn't. And again, I'm not saying it was Shanann's fault, but the dynamics there with Chris being like the introvert and her being the extrovert, that
Right.
shit didn't mesh either.
That was really sad.
It is.
No, Kay Miller just donated you 20 memberships.
She did. Thank you,
That's
Kay Miller.
amazing.
Wow. Thank you so much. Welcome, new clickers. I think you're right. I'm going to get off the PC and go to the beach.
Love the beach.
Oh, me too.
God, if I lived in Florida, I wouldn't even be on fucking
I need to take.
YouTube.
Yeah, you say that.
I know.
I need to take
Yeah.
you guys to the beach someday.
Yeah. I can't wait for the beach days.
I know it. Well, it's raining here today. It's all like gloomy and
Oh, is it?
dark.
It's actually
Mhm.
really nice here today.
Let me see if there's any more. Okay, yeah, let's watch this part. It's almost over.
And you enjoy it different ways. Yeah.
I think this is where they're debating like what to do.
Sounds like it's calling supervisor.
Sorry, wasn't sure if you could see me.
No, that's okay.
Is it possible that maybe if anyone has service, I just love service.
We're probably not going to have any better service. Welcome to the park. Yeah.
Okay. If you just answer, just now on one part. Every time I answer the call, it's
You might be able to get out texting.
sorry.
No, it's okay. But just to reiterate, Gabby, these might be your only two options. Either you go to jail or we separate you for tonight and you're in a much better place tomorrow to figure it out together. I'll give you some time.
She said that she was trying to keep it down. She said she was, and that's what caused him to hit her. She said that she grabbed her.
No, she said that too, that she started distracting him by hitting him, and that he probably looked at her, and that's why the mark is on the window side. And she said it was her fault that he swerved because she was distracting him by hitting him. And she said she didn't try to hurt him, it wasn't malicious. She thought that he wasn't listening to her.
So assault is an attempt with unlawful force or violence to bodily injury to another. Code for bodily injury, the definition says bodily injury is infliction of pain or physical impairment or use. So you can go just now.
Oh, I can't listen to that. It's way too fucking windy. I can't even hear that shit.
Yeah, you can even just turn the volume down and let us look at the captions.
Just watch it. Yeah.
Say it. Yeah.
Because it's bad.
That is bad.
You can see her clear there. Poor girl.
I mean, she's
young.
So distraught.
Just so young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she had a whole life ahead of her.
I just can't imagine like her mom, looking at this and just thinking, damn, if I only knew, like that's your girl. That's your baby. Oh, it's just awful. But yeah, they go around and around about calling a supervisor. I don't know why this guy's face is redacted.
Right there. It makes perfect sense going full on domestic assault, and the whole thing is, I mean, but it was the one cop like, well,
Yep.
But reverse roles, if it was Brian saying, yeah, I was hitting her as she was driving.
Oh, he would have been cuffed if he would have
Right.
said, I slapped her with an open hand. Oh yeah,
Right.
done,
Right on the spot.
done. The whole thing is just awful. I mean, any way you slice it, right?
Right. Because the truth is, I mean, because she's so tiny and all, it was kind of like, she comes across so fragile. You just want to hug her. You just want to fucking hug her.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to.
She actually reminds me a lot of my daughter.
And it's crazy because at the time I was like, it's if only they could have like talked to her mom. But then again, she's 23 years old, like, or 22. You know what I mean? She's an adult. Like the cops aren't just going to
Right.
call her mom and be like, "Hey, I think she might need, someone to get her out of this situation." But do they? I mean, if she's on the phone with her parents, do you think that they could have done that, or is that overstepping?
No, they could have done that. Like Gabby, if Gabby's mom would have said, "Let me talk to the cops," they would have spoken to her. They would have. I watch arrest videos all day long.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, they didn't see him as,
Well, he was good at selling himself, and then you have Gabby basically admitting to everything he's saying. Yeah, he was driving. I was hitting him. Yeah, the scratches because I have a ring. I'm just frustrated. I want to do this blogging, and he does. I mean, he sold himself good. And I'm sure, he's used to doing it that way. He's used to gaslighting and making Gabby feel like she's the problem. She's the issue. To
Mhm.
the point where she's like, it was me. It's a
Right.
piece of shit.
Yep.
It's a piece of shit.
I hear you, Beast Ma. It is. It's hard. It's hard watching it. But there's a lot of good lessons in it, especially for those kids who think that social media and, having these vlogs and shit is all glamorous because it's not.
No, it's an abusive world.
But even, I mean, look at Ruby Frankie. Look at all the shit we've seen, come out about the people that have these family vlogs and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So it's abusive. Kids can't consent.
JJ says, my daughter was drinking in Houston and one of her friends was arrested and the cop called me. She was 21. He realized that she came from good parents and had to tell us the goings on. See, that makes sense. Like, I don't know, take that extra step. If she's sitting there going, I want to talk to my mom. Does anybody have signal so I can call my dad? Like, how about we call your dad? Right? And say, y'all have been on this trip. You told us for how long? And it seems like you're at each other's throats. Like, maybe they need to know.
But would Gabby have listened? Because she did speak to her mother.
And
so
said
what
was no
difference
big
did it
deal.
make?
Right. True.
It didn't make much
You're
of a
right.
difference.
You're right. It's frustrating. So Sam Sarah, she says, when I was in an abusive relationship, I would lie about how I got any injuries and would minimize the abuse I couldn't hide. So I guess coming from someone who actually like did that, how how are like they supposed to overcome, like how can you overcome that situation? You can't, right? Like,
What do you mean overcome it?
I mean, if the abuser is going to lie or the abused one is going to lie, how can how can you prevent something like this from happening?
That's why they have the laws in place that they have.
Right. I know you keep saying that.
Because it's infuriating because that's why they made the laws because that, and I'm sorry you experienced that. Sam Sarah, I'm really sorry you experienced that. My kid's father was extremely, extremely abusive, even when I gave birth to our daughter in the hospital room. Matter of fact, the nurses kicked him out. He like threw, they give you a little pitcher of water. Well, I want to do something he wanted me to do as I was still attached and just gave birth. And he threw the water at me. So like went out into the hallway and all. And luckily in that case, they kicked him out of the hospital and said, you can't come back. Of course, his mom and his stepdad blamed me and, la-di-da. But that is why, because when the nurses came in, I said, oh, I knocked it over. But they could hear us arguing. And one nurse, and I was a teen mom, one nurse came in there and she sat with me for about 45 minutes lecturing me. You don't have to give this baby his name. You can do this, you can do that. You're young, you have your, like, she heard it and took the time to console me. People know, they see it. These cops see it. They know, they have the signs. And if they didn't have the signs, they have the law. So
Right.
they can say, okay, we don't have, I don't know what to do here, but I know by law we're to do this. And they chose not to do that because they went off their fucking feelings.
Right. So
It's
they should have been,
aggravating.
so they really should have been in trouble for not following the law.
Right. Absolutely. They should have been in trouble. Absolutely.
I think this is where at the end they say that about the shower. Let's see if it's bad. So she's getting,
Gatorade, by the way.
she's going to leave now.
That was embarrassing. You want a radio? Well, you didn't have today, have yesterday. It does my wife wonders. So she gets stressed out. Get the shower. Go take a shower, relax.
Okay, he's telling her go take a shower, blah blah blah.
Sorry about that approach. I don't know how it's doing. It's rough. It's all right. It was. Oh, Emily.
She's like giving her the thumbs up, like
I
go
just want to
ahead.
make sure you have room to get out.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, we'll get you around after this red car. And then just take your time. If you need to pull over and take a moment, that's fine too.
I'm still gonna go refill some water.
That'll work. Yeah, we got water at the visitor center. Okay, you want to come out now? Have a good one.
There we go. Have a good one. She's crying. She shouldn't even have been driving, in my opinion.
I was just about to say that. She
Not
drove off
cool.
distraught.
Yeah, not cool. They shouldn't have sent her off in that state. It's all disturbing. This whole thing is disturbing. And then look at this. They get in with Brian. Listen to this part. He's like, dude, is that Rob Zombie? Oh no, this is Gabby and the lady, right?
A lot of people.
I thought that was where Brian gets in.
The man.
Yeah, it's over. So that's it. I don't think the lady was that bad. I had the wrong idea going into it. Because she actually was. I mean, what else was she supposed to do?
Yeah.
There was just so many failures.
I mean, is there any other like documented reports of him being abusive?
Just her friend Rose. I think it wasn't really abusive. I think it was more like controlling.
Controlling.
Yeah. It's sad as fuck. But I'm glad you found those 11 questions.
Yeah, I hope they make a difference because obviously the fucking law in place in it.
Yeah. I mean, are they going to really, make sure that they follow? I mean,
Follow
how
it?
can they, yeah, I mean, how can they enforce that? All they could do is
And I mean, I'll be honest, I don't even see. Do you ever watch like domestic violence phone, like police calls and stuff? I watched just one lady that was psychotic. She kept being up on the guy, and then as soon as they go to arrest her, he's like, "Oh, please don't arrest her." Blah blah blah. But and at what point are they going to ask these questions? Like,
Well, you know who else is a good example? Sarah Boone.
yeah,
Sarah Boone, all getting drunk. They were both arrested on different occasions for domestic violence. They were both drinking. They were both abusive to each other. She ultimately, didn't unzip him out of the suitcase and passed out. He
yep.
died.
Well, and Lacey and I asked that when it came to Aiden Fucci with his mother trying to clean the
Oh,
the blood
yeah.
out of his jeans. I'll be honest. I know everybody's so quick to say like, "Oh, I would never do that. I wouldn't help my child." No way. I called the cop. I can't tell you what I would do. I don't know. I've said this back when Gabby was taking place. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be like the laundries or not. I don't know what I would do. Just have to be honest. I don't know.
I know I definitely wouldn't be like the laundries.
No.
I don't think I could leave them hanging not knowing. Like, I would at least tell them I don't know. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Like,
like respond. But as
I
far as like
wouldn't
not talking to
ignore
the police
them.
and shit, like
Yeah, no, I don't know. I would have handled that differently, dude.
yeah. I honestly
I
I don't know what I would do.
I don't think I could if my child did something bad. I think I'd have to. I mean, having a teenager like Aiden Fucci, that's different. Like, that's your kid. Like, he's still a minor,
Right.
so it kind of falls on you just by default. But your grown ass son, I. But then they lawyered up, right? I mean, they did what everybody says to do. It was all for one for all. Lucia says, who was the dark haired girl speaking in the documentary? That was a friend of Brian and Gabby's from high school. Alabama. I never took up for one of my sons during their divorces. I am the type wrong is wrong no matter if it's your kid or not. Well, I mean, in divorces, there's usually wrongs on both sides, right? Like, both have probably
Yeah.
done shit
And they're like
to each
adults.
other. Hmm.
I'm talking about your child, like your
Your engaged child that didn't have a ring, right?
right. Fucking weird.
But them having her van there and her not being there is fucked. That whole thing was fucked.
Yeah, it was weird.
If they told LE what they knew immediately when he returned, they may have been able to save his life too. True. That's
I
very
think they
true.
knew that he was going to take his life.
Do you? Some even
Absolutely.
speculate that his mom helped him. Because what was weird? In the documentary, this tip came in. Remember when the FBI bum rushed their house and finally went inside? And they were like, Brian's gone. Like, oh, we're filing a missing persons report. Well, apparently there was a tip that came to them that Brian was inside, possibly overdosing. And that was what made them go inside. And then he wasn't there.
Well, thank God somebody gave that tip because they didn't even know he was missing until that
I
point.
wonder if it was the sister. If she thought that maybe he was unaliving himself or with mom.
I mean, what are the odds that, the place was shut down and nobody could find Brian? And then as soon as it opens, his parents going, oh, here, we found him. They
Dude,
fucking knew
within
what he was doing.
less than an hour, they
Right.
found his shit in his body.
Because I'm sure without a doubt, he probably said, Mom, I can't do it. I can't go to jail. I can't live like this. And she probably was like, yeah, I get it. They did their camping trip to say goodbye to each other and the family, and he took his life.
Yeah,
I think she knew he was going to.
Maybe they all knew. Because a
Maybe.
lot of people said that they thought the camping trip where the laundries all went camping,
Yeah.
that was like to say goodbye to Brian.
That's what I just said, girl. One last family, the whole family goes and, one last weekend of memories because he's not going to live.
They only found like his mandible, like his bottom jaw,
Uh,
in like pieces.
yeah, I remember because there was that whole conspiracy. Was it even him? Because
I
remember
know.
Chris Madonna did that whole thing like, oh, this guy's Brian without a doubt. Without a doubt, this is Brian based off my experience. This guy, remember that account?
Yes, yes. I do. I remember Chris McDonough's YouTube channel got terminated during that, and he got it back.
Mm-hmm.
Nomadic Trek, that's what it was. Yep. Because Gabby's YouTube was Nomadic Static.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Laundry he found the dry bag that had pictures of Gabby and letters to his family. Oh, I wanted to play that video. That's right. Of her talking. So the AI thing, right? Pretty scary. Like AI is pretty weird, right? But it was used in a pretty neat way. Recreated her voice. So she read her own journal. Here, I'm going to try to play it through my phone, see if it works.
Right now we are at Devil's Garden Campground in
Oh, wait, that's actually her. Here we go.
I feel bad I'm always on my phone.
The nit and grit of it.
What the heck? Hold on. Hold, please.
I feel bad I'm always on my phone.
Okay, there it starts.
I should give Brian more attention.
This is actually AI. This isn't her. Can you hear it? Or do I need to put it on?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay, so this is her. This is the AI recreation of her journal.
I feel bad I'm always on my phone. I should give Brian more attention. He loves me so much, I don't deserve it. But I'm lucky he sticks with me.
So that was actually the part that they did AI. It's kind of sad hearing her voice say that out loud, isn't it?
Scary. It's scary how AI works.
It is scary. You got to say, hold on. I know I'm using catchphrases. I know AI is scary, but like I said, people thought I was crazy when I was saying that Nick is like this um AI guy that could probably take a voice and do something to try to match it. You know what I mean? It's not impossible. It's definitely not impossible. I don't like that at all, says Snowflakes. Right. Because then if what do we know? Like, do we get to the point where we don't know what's real and what's not? Right. I mean, yeah, it's great to use it in situations like that to like bring her journal to life. But weird, huh? Like, what if someone does that to Trump's voice? Then what? You give AI permission to use your voice? It's as easy as simply downloading an app these days, right? I mean, look at all these AI songs. What the Croc says, B Tim, I just bought 3 pairs of Crocs this weekend. Do you have a wall of Crocs? Who's to say the next time that you go live, it's not you? Your voice is online, right? Well, what freaks me out. Oh, now that's weird, Misty Blue. Whoa. The whole AI thing freaks me out. We just had a huge bust in my city. 12 men took faces off Facebook photos, added AI naked bodies, and had a secret chat sharing on Discord. Over 1,000 victims. Oh my God. I have more Crocs than I know what to do. What the crock? Literally. Imagine dating a robot. No, thank you. That robot shit scares the hell out of me, to be honest. Never wearing Crocs. I don't wear Crocs. I don't have Crocs. I've never owned a pair of Crocs ever. Might now, don't get me wrong, they're cute as shit on toddlers and little kids. Yeah, exactly, Snowflakes. Remember when I said someone clipped my intro to my video like welcome to Jay is for Justice podcast and then it was played 1500 times? That freaked me out. It's weird. No one plays a clip of you saying welcome to Jay is for Justice podcast like 1500 times. Like other clips don't even get played that much that are clipped. Are you there, Granny?
Yes, give me one quick second. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I didn't know what you were doing. But don't you think that's weird? That freaking 1500 times? Did you hear about the arrest made in, I believe, Cali for child P AI corn? Oh, God. It's so nasty, Jennifer. Yeah, I don't know. That whole thing's that scares me. You have more Hey Dudes. I have a pair of Hey Dudes. I like them. They're comfy. My son has Chat GPT on his phone to give him a summary of things happening in his day, and it told him he was an abuser and mean when he had an argument with his dad. You're kidding. The fuck? So, do you have to set it up to do that? Or if you have it on your phone, Cricket, it automatically does that? How does that work? Oh, she's giving the cat a strawberry facial. She probably is. She probably went and got blueberry facial stuff for her freaking cat. I mean, it's disgusting, but I'd rather AI child stuff rather than real ones. It's still gross. Yeah, I don't. Ugh. Chat GPT, if you have it on your phone, it'll tell you about your day. I'm going to try it. Tell me about my daily activities. Let's see what it says. I'm asking it on my phone. Whoa. It knows all about my YouTube. Based on what I know, your daily activities likely involve content creation. You work on your J is for Justice podcast, which includes researching, scripting, and recording episodes, especially on true crime cases. Video production, you create and edit YouTube videos, particularly those that involve court documents and case updates. How does it know this? Community engagement, you interact with your audience through live streams, comments, and social media. Your weekly Cooter Clip Clash game that I did once is a big part of this, where viewers vote on funny or interesting clips. Weird. I never told it anything about me. Cooter Clip. Cooter Clip Sleuth. That is so funny. I didn't even think about it. I just read it like it was nothing. You have Gemini in your phone? I don't know what Gemini is. Same type of thing. I just said tell me about my daily activities. Cooter Brother Bears. Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? Creepy. Creepy, creepy. I'm really sad though that most of my J is for Justice Gabby and Brian footage is gone due to that lawsuit. But I do have the deposition read-throughs up. What is this? Oh Lord. There's still there's still one up. Oh, remember her funeral? How many people were there? Oh, remember this chick? Remember this chick, Nina Angelo? Remember, this is when all the Instagrammers were coming out. It wasn't really so much TikTokers, but Instagrammers. Remember this chick?
Yeah, it was our first full day of vacation in Jackson Hole. We were at Mary Piglets, which is a Mexican restaurant in Jackson Hole, and it was Friday, August 27th. We got to the restaurant around 1 o'clock, and it was the altercation took place within the first hour of us being there, so it had to have been before 2 o'clock.
And in as much detail as you feel comfortable sharing, what did you notice about their interaction with each other?
It wasn't so much their interaction with each other. I didn't really take notice to them at all until they got up from their table and they were, like I mentioned in my video, abruptly leaving the restaurant. It looked as though they were like almost getting kicked out, and it was never so much, it wasn't necessarily between them. It was more so Gabby abruptly leaving the restaurant crying, and Brian was just evidently really upset, pissed off. I would say Gabby was upset. He was angry, and he was just being very temperamental towards the restaurant staff.
And it's fine if you aren't sure. Do you know what the source of his anger was, or why she was upset?
No, and I don't want to say, because I don't want to fabricate anything. I've mentioned that I mean, in the moment, when it was happening, we didn't know who these people were and we didn't know what was going to happen. But in that moment, I was thinking to myself, it seemed as though, I don't know, you think worst case scenario, like what was something wrong with their food? Were they displeased with the service? It still doesn't, that still doesn't seem like that much anger is worth something like that. So it made me think that it seemed as if he was embarrassed and he was angry about being embarrassed. I got the feeling that they were asked to leave or that they were being kicked out the restaurant, because it was, like I said, very abrupt. They got up very abruptly and just walked out the restaurant, and she was really upset. She was crying, and he immediately went to the hostess stand and was just he was just going in on the hostess and the waitress, and then eventually the manager. He exited and entered the restaurant on 4 different occasions within 5 minutes. He would walk out, walk back in, walk out, walk back in. At one moment, we thought they had walked out for good, or he had walked out for good, and he actually left for 10 minutes and then came back just to start the fight all over again.
It's really interesting. And this is just a confirmation question.
So to piggyback on that, in the documentary, it came out that Gabby texted Brian from the bathroom and was like, I'm not, he said, do you want me to ask for the check? And she's like, I'm not paying for food that I didn't eat. And then she's like, the chicken didn't smell right. And he goes, do you want me to get the bill? And she's like, I'm not paying for food I didn't eat. And he goes, okay, I'll just wait for you then. And then this girl was in the restaurant.
You said that you and I'm not sure your partner were sitting next to them.
Yeah, we were sitting directly next to them. There's 2 tables right by the front door, which is also the exit and also where the hostess stand is. And yeah, we were within not even a foot of each other.
Wow. And you kind of said in detail how he was acting toward the staff. Is there anything that you specifically overheard him say?
No, he was just being really aggressive. I couldn't hear any verbiage or actual words, but it just his body language, and you could obviously I could hear him, but I couldn't make out his words. He was, I would say, it was almost like he was screaming. He was really angry. That's the best I can describe it. He was just very visibly angry. It was like a dog with a bone. He wouldn't drop it, whatever it was. He was pissed off, and he would not let it go. So much so that he would be asked to leave. I guess the restaurant staff was kind of not telling him what he wanted to hear, or maybe they were asking him to continuously leave, and he would leave and he would just re-enter within a minute, and he just kept coming back, and he wouldn't drop it, whatever it was. He was just getting angrier.
Got it. And these might be, granular details, but if you remember at all, how did the 2 of them look? Did they look normal for all intents and purposes, or was anything off?
Like I said, I didn't really take notice to them, in the midst of them eating, or I just took notice of them when they were leaving. And in that moment, Gabby reminded me a lot of how she seemed in that body cam video.
Yes, this is the day she died. So after 8:30 p.m. this day that they were at the Mary Piglets, 8:30 was the last activity on her computer, and then that was it.
the cop, she just seemed distraught. She seemed really upset. She was emotional. She was crying. She seemed kind of embarrassed. At one point, she walked back into the restaurant on one of his attempts to walk back in. I think she followed him and was trying to, I think, get him to leave and like drop the situation. I think she was being like apologetic towards the restaurant staff for his behavior. Like she just kind of wanted to diffuse the situation. She was like, I'm sorry, come on, let's just go. But she was visibly upset. She was crying. And that was really it. And he was just, you could feel his temper. He was angry. He was pissed off.
And in the midst of everything you're describing, at any point did they stay and have a meal? Did you see that they ate, or you didn't know?
I'm not positive. All I remember is that they were sitting at the table directly next to us. We were eating. We were in the middle of our meal. We weren't paying attention to anybody else around us. We only took notice of them when they got up and were leaving. I'm almost positive that they were eating because I remember questioning, did they even pay? Did they even get the bill? Did they, it was so fast. They just, our waitress was also their waitress. We shared a waitress, and she was visibly upset. So I know that she was a part of it. She has to have more information than I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry if any of these questions are redundant. I just want to make sure I cover.
Did the Mary Piglet's waitress ever come out, or was it the owner? Wasn't it the owner, Robat, of the Mary Piglets that came out and was like, didn't she say like nothing happened here? Do you remember that? I think they were trying to save the face of their business.
I do remember that.
But do you think that's why she came out and said like nothing happened?
Yeah, because they didn't want it to impact their business.
Yeah, kind of like what was the bar in Idaho? The Corner Club.
Oh,
the owner
yeah.
of the Corner Club. Remember, he was like, quit calling here. Like, crazy.
Because people do. They go crazy like that.
They certainly do. Well, at the Mary Piglets, they showed a text where Gabby was in the bathroom and she was like, I'm not feeling good, so I'm going to be a minute. That was the same day that she was killed. So I wonder if she wasn't like talking to that dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know. Horrible. It's just so wild. Like, this was the first case that all these people came out from social media like, oh, I gave him a ride. Oh, I saw them at this park. Oh, I ate dinner next to them.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Ange Carter said this chick said she was a foot away. Brian was screaming, but she couldn't make out what he was saying. Yeah, I don't know. And we wondered about this too. Like, these people coming out of the woodwork, are they just trying to get like their 15 minutes of fame? Everybody was questioning that Miranda Baker too.
Well, it could be part of the fact of like just the surrealness of like, oh my gosh, I actually met these people.
Yeah. That's right, Robat. Gabby tried calling Jackson and he didn't answer. That's right. And then she died that day. Fucking horrible. Well, I don't have anything more to add to this.
No, sorry. I have so many side things going on that I'm distracted.
No, I know. You said it was going to be rough after 3, so
yeah,
I kind of expected it. I get it, girl.
I'm sorry.
Well, I hope your audience enjoyed this and you guys share this out. Hit the thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm sorry I wasn't so active. It's later in the day, it gets a little chaotic and,
No, I figured. You told me.
Did y'all see
using Gabby? Oh, her debit cards.
Yeah, remember the interview? Pull that up. That dog did during Gabby's. He was a big part of this too.
Oh yeah,
I'm so close. I can smell him, and he was way off.
He banged on their front door to get him to answer the door. Let me see. I forgot about that. Oh, here's the clip where he went. I remember watching this. This was so wild. I just couldn't believe these people were holed up in their house like this. I never seen nothing like this shit. And it really got real when this happened. We're like watching, the news is just streaming live. And then all of a sudden this car pulls up and this motherfucker gets out and goes and bangs on the door. Can you, my mods, please block another troll? I don't see them. Just another troll. I don't know, Robat, if you can see them or not. Just make sure they're blocked on our end. I don't know what, I didn't see what they said, but
That was like 20 minutes ago.
what's that?
But they were like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, someone just said something in chat, so I didn't know if they were like,
Oh, I wasn't looking at the chat again, but
oh, they're on your
shocker.
side, Christine. Okay. Look at his hair standing there. I can't. Look at the camera, people. What a shit show.
When you went out to public to get milk, public to get milk, but I'm saying he's saying what's in the private. They got the got the glass this morning. So you talking about the kid or about last time I seen them was before they went on their trip. Yeah. They were in the driveway that went on that van. Hold on, guys.
He really banged on that fucking door, man.
We can't talk right now. I'm sorry.
Why are you looking for them?
We can't talk right now. I'm sorry.
Can you tell us why you're here, sir?
Well, really, come on. You know. Okay. Aloha, guys. Thank you.
Do you have any tips?
I'm trying to get some.
He was really banging on their fucking door. Here's another one.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
Because I lost a daughter at about the same age, I know what the parents feel like, okay? And you want justification. You want the guy behind bars.
This is the same shit he says in Sebastian's.
All of it's alleged that he even committed the murder. But circumstantially, it looks like he did. You know, the strongest lead I see is that one of her friends said he had been in the Appalachian Mountains by himself for a couple months. Now, he's not just a camper then, he is a outdoorsman. So in order to do that, I think because of his age, he felt comfortable. If there's anywhere right now that looks the hottest, that could be the area. It all depends on the picture they got of him the other day where they're hunting now. If really that was him, no one has said that. If not, Appalachian Mountains is the best, but it covers several states. So where did he go in at? That's where you start your tracking point. From right when he went into the mountain with dogs, they've got so much infrared. I mean, they're going to catch him. You know, the only reason I would doubt if he's in the swamp is they've been hunting it really good, okay? And I'm not sure that was him in the picture. You know, they was blurry, blah, 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 like kind of an old bank robbery picture, right? But you couldn't really tell if that was him. Now, if that was him 100%, he's in the swamp. Okay. And then, so he moves in the night and he probably sleeps up in the day. Now, the FBI has ultraviolet light tracking. Remember the
He had
boat
all the
Explorer?
answers.
How they
Ultraviolet light tracking?
found the kid in the boat when they went over and the tarp was over him. They've got that. So I'm sure they're using that to cover with drones. I mean, he can't cover with mud. It's not Arnold Schwarzenegger. He can't cover with anything. He's going to light up. You know, I don't think he went to New York or there's been a couple rumors he might have went to Mexico. I've been to Mexico. So if he's down there wanted, a white boy that doesn't know Spanish, the cartel's going to grab him for the reward. So no, he's not down there. You know, I don't think. Who knows? I've had to eat my words before. Sounds like when they got into argument, she screamed.
Did you hear that, Granny? Did you hear?
So no, he's not down there. You know,
He's
I don't
such a
think. Who
know-it-all.
knows? I've had to eat my words
Big A.
before. Sounds like when they got into argument, she screamed a lot. Now, if he's out in that tent, your voice will go what, 2 miles? And she's screaming. What if he put his hand over her mouth to shut her up and killed her?
Like, what the fuck is this? I've never heard this. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Can you hear the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
'Cause someone said it's hard to hear the video.
He is low down. I mean,
Oh, he
you
is?
know, yeah, but I don't think it's on you.
Well, I boosted it. That's why I didn't know. I didn't want it to be too loud. What is this, though? I never heard him say this. That's sick.
Or did he do it worse? It all depends. It's like when they got into argument, she screamed a lot. Now, if he's out in that,
How did he, when they got into arguments, she screamed a lot? Where'd he get that from?
Right. This guy just says whatever he wants to say. He's a fucking wackadoo.
Wow.
your voice will go what, 2 miles? And she's screaming. What if he put his hand over her mouth to shut her up and killed her? Or did he do it worse? It all depends. The autopsy report is out, I believe, how she died. Okay.
Oh, he's already
That's going to
caught
be your
here.
murder, death penalty sentence. So, how do you say it could have been an accident? You know, the guy that killed my daughter in a car wreck, right? He passed too, but it was an accident. How do you say that? So, but right now we got to hunt him as a wanted fugitive. So the reason I went to Mr. Landry is because I carry a reputation with me. See me every night on Pluto TV. The reputation is he gives you a second chance. He gonna get you, but he gives you a second chance. So I thought, wow, the dad's gonna, see me and crack, and I know the kid knows me. Probably
I know
my
the kid
fans.
knows me. Nobody
So,
knows you.
I thought the dad would answer and
Did
talk.
you hear what he said? I know the kid knows me. He's probably one of my fans.
Right. Like
But
nobody in
very
his age bracket knows him.
See, I guess, I think that he needs to kind of realize that his heyday is gone, right? Like, people
Right.
aren't going to open their door to Dog the Bounty Hunter. They're just not. Like,
He's
not.
nobody.
Yeah.
And to say a kid like Brian's age knows him, no, they don't. If anything, his father may have knew who
His
you
dad.
were.
Mhm.
Right.
Consistent without.
If he was at my door, I might just call the cops. Like, what the fuck is this dude doing here? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, why
the
didn't he kick
peace
down the door and make a citizen's arrest?
Right.
You know?
And knocked a few times so they saw it was me. And I didn't play nasty and put a copy of the warrant on their front door. None of that. I was very respectful. And the dad can still reach out to me through social media. Let's get the kid captured alive. Alive. So the next step that I have is to now we work off leads. Okay. We don't have a crystal ball where we can say, oh, there's where he's at. Well, now we work off leads. Somebody knows something. Somebody else knows where he's at, where they dropped him off at, or did they drop him off? That person is going to call us. Because again, we're not the police. This is anonymous. We don't have to tell. We are willing to go to extreme measures to find him, whether it's in Mexico, I've got connections there, or anywhere. I think again that he's young enough not an experienced criminal, but what is his greatest experience? Okay, outdoorsman. That's what he does the best. I don't think he can shoplift and live in the city and be on the run and, sleep at cheap hotels. I think that he is what's in his blood. He's in them hills. On a 1 to 10, he's probably a 6 compared to the outdoorsmen and some of the guys that I've captured. Okay, those 2 New York guys, the one that killed the other guy we was 10 minutes behind him. That's good stuff. So this guy's not experienced like that. We get a scent of a trail. We get a scent, he's done. He's not going to hide in the trees and dig a cave and all that. He's got a small tent, maybe a knife, because he's got to stay out in the open. Hope parents didn't give him anything else to protect himself. How's he eating? Got to kill the game. So, just don't walk up on him and say, hey, you're wanted, freeze.
I can't, Granny. I fucking can't.
Yeah, I like the one when he's like out there and he's like, the one where he goes, let me have you, Brian.
Oh, that's the one I'm getting ready to pull up right now.
Yeah. And then
Robin
the one where
just
he's
sent
like,
me that.
he's saying how he's so close he can smell them. And then like, not even an hour later, they find Brian like halfway away from where Dog is, ironically. That's just like I played this stream the other day where he's saying they should use truth serum on God, what were those brothers' names? I'm drawing a blank. The Avery and whatchamacallit? God, I'm drawing a blank. But anyway, it's like, yeah, this dude just comes like, he's another one. He just pops up whenever there's a trending case, tries to make himself the center of it because there's no other way for him to get attention. And then he solves nothing. Nothing.
Right. And then just sells cameos and whatever. Meet and greets. All right, here we go.
Yep.
Let me have you, Brian.
Like, what the fuck is that?
What did you do? You're living it every night, aren't you, boy? Turn yourself in, Brian.
Oh, another one that says boy.
Once in your life, be a man.
The fuck? See,
Be
now
a
it's loud
man.
as fuck for
Does that
me.
sound familiar? Be a man.
Be a man. Here he is again. Dog the bounty hunter joins search for Brian Laundrie. Fox.
Yes, sir.
It's great to have you as well. So you're down in Florida. You were actually on your honeymoon. Congratulations on your wedding.
Isn't that Granny? He went to a wedding in Tennessee. He was on his honeymoon in Florida.
Oh, ironic. Convenient.
You hear that? Yeah.
In Florida, you were actually on your honeymoon. Congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you very much.
You were down there, and apparently your phone just started ringing off the hook. Hey, dog, you got to join the hunt, right?
Well, yes, we were notified by a couple family members and our fans.
Family members.
Social media us to no end. Please, dog, please. Since you're in the area, will you check it out? So once Francie and I started reading about the case and seeing what was going on, we're in Colorado. So the couple had passed through Colorado. So that got our attention right away. So yes, we're down there. I went to the father's house to talk to the dad and he wouldn't answer the door.
Right. Where do you think Brian Laundrie is?
Well, we have a special hotline, 833-CALL-DOG, and we've gotten over 1,000 leads.
Wow.
So Francie and I really started this 2 days ago. So we're going through all those leads, right? It's incredible. Pictures of him here, there. We're going through all those leads right now. I would say within 48 hours, we probably will have a location where we start the tracking at.
Now, I understand a number of the leads have suggested check out the Appalachian Trail. Why is that?
Well, the leads, yes, have said that. And the reason is because he spent a couple months there in the past and he is an outdoorsman. So he's got
Same
T-shirts
shit.
on his social media with the mountains. He's got pictures.
He's got T-shirts on social media with the mountains. What the fuck does that mean? So do I. Cooter Lake has mountain shirts. I've never once climbed a mountain.
He's been there before, so he's very young. He's not an experienced criminal. He'll do what he should do. He can't stay and shoplift and stay in cheap motels or rob people like a lot of people that
It's the same script. It's the same script.
I chase. This kid is an outdoorsman, so I think he went to, again, where he's comfortable, to the outdoors.
So he's not at, you don't think he's at that Carlton Reserve down in the western portion of Florida, do you?
Well, I'm not sure. The only way that everyone thought he was there was a picture on a deer cam.
Yeah.
And I sent that picture to my people and they said, dog, that's not him.
What?
So if it is him, then he's down there or was down there. But, you know, it's up in the air. You got to search, though. They had to search. They had to try. They had to do that with that kind of lead like that, a picture.
And Dog, this is personal to you because you lost a daughter who was about the same age
and then
as
here
Gabby.
we go again with the daughter story. It's the same script. Sleuth says you partially climbed Lookout Mountain in Colorado, though we drove up that bitch and kind of climbed it. Yeah, we almost fell on our asses. I forgot about that. Sleuth, that was so funny. That was awesome, though. That was so beautiful. Looking down at the Coors Brewery.
I think back in 2006.
Yes, my barber Katie was exactly the same age when she was killed in a car accident. So I kind of know what it feels like, and it's the saddest thing they're in. And catching this guy will not bring that much justification, but it'll make sure he doesn't do it again.
Yeah. And I understand you want to try to catch him, apprehend him before his birthday when he turns 24, and that would be in the middle of November.
Yes, sir. We try to set a date like that. Again, we're getting a lot of leads. Steve, what I like, and you know how I am, I'd like all the Christians out there to start praying. One thing we haven't asked for is prayer. Now it's time for prayer.
Here we go. It's same.
That's why they
These
were all
Christians
Christian
get
when
together.
Dog came along.
Yes.
I
It's
never
the
heard
same
Betty.
bullshit.
I never heard Betty or Brittany talk so much about being a Christian a day in my life until they joined this quote unquote team.
And now they're brothers and sisters and everything else. Dude, see, my cat's a bitch. I'm trying to get her over here so I can show you. Can you believe this script? It was the same as the helicopter script.
He did the same thing when with the whole bullshit with the just give them truth serum, blah blah blah. Like
Yes,
that's what. Yeah,
and
it's
he
every
said the same
popular
thing
case
about being at the laundry's door. You know, I didn't leave a copy of the warrant. What warrant?
Right? What warrant?
You
Get the
didn't have a
fuck out of
warrant?
here.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Ooh, excuse me.
Let me have you, Brian.
What is that?
I'm guessing that's supposed to be so scary.
Let me have you, Brian.
It reminds me of like a WWE wrestler. I got her. I
Oh
got her.
God, this freaking cat.
I got my kitty. All right, here. Let me show you. Let me love you, Brian. Or what did you say? Let me go.
Go.
Okay, here's my baby. This is
Well, at
Mama.
least she's normal. This one isn't.
Well, she wants to eat, so she's.
Oh,
not
she's a baby.
She's not. Actually,
She's not?
She's full grown. Mm-mm.
Oh wow, she's really cute.
Isn't she cute?
Yeah.
She wants a blueberry facial.
Oh fucking God.
She does. She's my hurricane kitty. When I came home, she had just had kittens and she was a baby herself. And so I had them all fixed. This rescue came and trapped them all, fixed them, and clipped their little ears and then dropped them back off. And she's the only one that stuck around. But she's full grown and she had babies when she was a baby. You want the mic? Remember that lawyer clip? I'm not a cat. During COVID. The lawyer came on Zoom and like his kid left the cat.
Oh, that was hysterical.
Left
Yeah,
the
I do
cat
remember that now that you said that.
filter on or whatever. And he's like, Your Honor, I swear I'm not a cat.
It was hysterical.
Little eyes are looking around.
I'm going to kill my cat.
Funny. I came back to see that fool on the screen, OG Fish.
Dude, he really is a fool, though. Let me get you, Brian. Like, shut up.
God, we could probably take a clip from every case that he's like got himself involved in, and it would be the same script, just shifted slightly.
Yeah, and again, what are the odds that he was there for his like he was already in Florida, just like he already had to go to Tennessee. He didn't go out of his way to go to these places.
Mm-mm.
And then when he was in Tennessee, he didn't even go and search for Sebastian. So,
well, and like someone said, tax write-off, anyone?
Oh, that's right.
Big family gathering. Wild. Because they stayed in a very, very nice house in St. Pete, right on the water.
Oh my God.
Oh, Granny.
Come on, Nelly. What are you doing?
Wow.
The
veil has been lifted for me with this. It's weird, man. I don't like it.
Matter of fact, I think the one case that Dog claims he did solve, Betty came out here freaking out on him, saying he's a liar, that he took credit for something he didn't do.
Yeah, she sure did.
So ain't that something?
But yeah, if you guys want to hear from Gabby Petito's parents post this Netflix release, Justin, what's his name? Justin
on TikTok.
Yeah, but I think he changed his name on YouTube. It's like Justin the Nick of Crime or something.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
But anyways, it's on there if you guys want to watch it. Doug's ghostwriter recommends his books.
Probably.
All right, Granny. Well, thanks for joining me today.
You are very welcome. Thank you for inviting me and having me.
Yeah, for sure. It was a great Monday. I usually go live Mondays and Fridays, so it was a nice little change.
Yeah, I'm getting back to my regularly daily schedule. So
that's good. Morning time.
Morning times. Have
Very
some coffee with me. Hopefully Nellie's less of a pain in the ass. Jay, did you get your new glasses?
I didn't. Yeah, I have to go pick them up. I'm pitiful. I'm going to go today. I swear it.
What the crock, I know. I'm sitting here feeling the same way, but it's time to cook dinner and do all the fun things.
Yeah. Well, thanks for spending your afternoon with me.
No, I really appreciate you inviting me. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, you guys.
I will see you all later. Bye.
Bye, Granny. All right, guys. I'm not sure I have an exit on here, so when I hit end, it's probably just gonna be done. You're over a week. I know. Isn't that pitiful? They were ready early and I didn't go get them. Like I had my mind on 2 weeks and I guess I just waited. You were in the other chat, Ange? That's okay. Hit the like button, guys. Thanks for being here. And yeah, let me know in the comment section what you thought of the Netflix and anything that I may have missed. Thanks, you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And share this documentary with the young people in your life. I think it's very important. Bye, guys.